Well, I'll start. Hi, I'm Steve Thompson. I'm president of Emery Thompson Machine, and welcome to Make It Fresh.
Hi, I'm Jeff Markow, and I sold Mystic Ice Cream, and now I have Daytona. Mike, fix that.
Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill Ice Cream in Daytona Beach.
He thought it was Cherry Hill, Jersey, but he's getting it right now. Okay.
And I'm Christi Brown. I'm sales manager for Emery Thompson. I'm the one you hear on the phone when you need about just anything, and to get to Steve, that's me.
So Jeff's new store is going to be opening very soon.
2 to 3 weeks.
And it's in South Daytona. Is that what they call it?
No, Daytona Beach.
It's at Daytona Beach, which if you're coming to one of his classes, Ice Cream Boot Camp is a short drive from Orlando International Airport, and it's a great place. You come up, take Jeff's class on Monday and Tuesday. You can come over here, sign up for our class for Wednesday over here in Tampa, and everything in everything in Florida is very convenient and easy to get to. Christi just passed her 2 million mark in sales, and she's only been sales manager for about a year. That's a huge achievement.
But that's only in a few months, though.
Is it since January?
Yeah.
2 million since January.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. How much am I paying you? Never mind.
Well,
Not enough.
Not enough. I'm glad it's not commission. I'd be dropping dead. Anyway, we'll get started. Christi and I are going to make the first product. Here's shouldn't lick my fingers on camera.
wait.
I'll have to get yeah, I need sanitizer now. Thank you. Boy, all the rules have
What
changed.
a world, huh?
COVID.
Yes, thank you. All right.
It's awkward now. Like,
do
you
I
can't
put-
shake hands. You're just like, bye.
I'm just going to put it on my tongue.
yeah, well,
that way I
let's not
can
do
These
that.
are-
Yeah, if you would. That's what I started to do. That's our agenda for the day.
Pass them, and then we'll keep passing.
Save a copy for me.
I'll take that.
Thanks. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what we're doing. Christi and I are going to start off. We're going to use the CB-200.
350
We're using the 350 on the first one?
for the cranberry orange.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the
Good.
350.
I should read the script. We don't have a script. So I'm going to pull this one back. We'll get to that later. And we're going to run the CB-350, which is the world's largest selling batch freezer. This makes 6 to 7 quarts of ice cream in about 8 minutes and Italian ice in about 14.
Want me to sanitize?
Yeah, please. We're going to do an Italian ice on it today. Christi came up with this one. It's a combination of cranberry and orange Italian ice. And if you can speak for a second, I've got to go get the formula
Okay.
so I can give it out to everybody.
So that's, let me fill this first.
There's also coffee up here, and there's muffins over there with plates and napkins. Help yourself. Otherwise, they get made into ice cream at some future date. So help yourself. And if you have any questions, raise your hand and we'll get to you. If it's a good question, we'll actually repeat it.
Jeff, what happened to all the stair sheen?
All the what?
The stair sheen.
Right here. But it's all done.
Oh.
I did it. It's all done.
Sanitized?
All done.
So I don't need to do that.
All done.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
We
then
should have
let's
asked.
put this out.
Okay, here's the formula that we're going to run today. And those of you watching on YouTube or emerythompson.com, this will be up at the website by next week. We're going to use 2 quarts of Simply Delicious cranberry juice, 2 quarts of Simply Delicious orange juice, 2 pounds of sugar. We'll mix that all up in a bucket and pour it into the machine and freeze
Simply
it.
delicious, what you make.
It will be super delicious.
You want to do this while I get the 2 pounds of sugar?
Okay. Now, there's other products on the market, but we just found this one to be really excellent.
And it comes out a very pretty pink, so that's even better.
Now, if you have a chance to look at past videos, we made one about a month ago, dill pickle Italian ice. Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, it wasn't
This
bad.
this container's not big enough. I'm gonna have to go to something bigger. It was interesting, and Christi's husband, Mickey. Okay, thanks. Christi's
using
husband,
my
Mickey, cooked some bacon for it. Perfect strips of flat bacon. We thought, you know, who wants dill pickle Italian ice? But if you put bacon in it, it'll be great. So we put in a piece of bacon. People ended up using it as a spoon. But we did it pretty much for promotion. It's something that actually sells in Texas. But sometimes you make a product just to promote it, right? Like my...
Don't go there.
Can you name one?
Oh, I can.
Maybe Sharknado?
Oh, you think?
You got it?
Yeah.
You're going to be the one that pours it in the machine, right?
Okay. Of course. And the sugar. Now, sugar dissolves very quickly. I'll try to stay in range. Sugar dissolves very quickly, even in cold liquid like this. You don't have to heat it up. In fact, you don't want to heat it up because then the water loses all its oxygen and it tastes very flat. But this will be perfectly fine. Now, when we're pouring it in, if there's a little stream of sugar that's still left in the bucket, don't worry about it. We put in 2 pounds of sugar, so a little stream is not going to affect the rest of it.
The rib lady.
You want me to?
Yeah, but I'm going to cut this down. We have a lot of product here. I'm going to cut this down to about 4 quarts.
Sure.
So
You
I
want
think
to
we're
pour
a
it
little
back
more.
in there then?
Yeah.
All right.
All this fun mixing and matching. All right. And we'll save the rest for later. We'll pour rum in it and serve drinks.
It's a good idea. Pineapple juice, maybe?
There we go. Okay.
All
So if
right.
you want to put that in,
Are we ready?
yeah. Always check that the gate is closed. The last thing you did, before Christi pours that in, the last thing you did was you sanitized the machine and you opened up the gate so that you get all the sanitizer out. And now you're pouring the product in and it's going all over the floor and everywhere. And I get the phone call. Yes.
Actually, our students will tell you the proper way to do it, and that's at the end of the day when you make your run so that it is closed up. The next day you come in, you're ready to go, right? And if the machine is closed, there's no chance of a mistake. But that's just us.
That's a good idea, but I'll tell them later why that's wrong.
Okay.
The health department wants the parts laid out on a table. So there you go.
All right, let's see
But
if
check
I
that
can...
the gate's closed because that's the #1 phone call that we get. And another nice thing about Italian ice is in the bucket you can taste it and you can see how it is, because what you taste in the bucket before you freeze it is what you're going to get. So if you're playing with a new recipe and you don't know if it needs a little more of this or a little less of that, you can't take less out, but you can add more just tasting it right there before you put it in the machine. So we pre-ran this product, and so we have a pretty good idea what it's going to taste like. So Christi's setting it up on the Infinite Overrun for homemade ice cream.
Actually, Italian ice.
Italian ice, sorry. Turning on the refrigeration, and we'll start a timer to keep an idea of how long we're going.
A secret about Italian ice is how many of you have had super creamy Italian ice and then you've had some that taste more crunchy or crystallizing? Secret's sugar. So to get that extra smooth, creamy taste on that Italian ice is just adding more sugar. If this isn't creamy enough for you, well, orange juice already has sugar, so it's sugar and then you added more sugar. So the more sugar you add, the more creamier it's going to be. So if you're playing with an Italian ice formula, just keep adding, another ½ pound of sugar until you get that smoothness that you really like.
Now you know from watching the videos how Jeff and I will banter back and forth. He's always right and I'm always right, so that means we're going to be busting heads all the time. I had to give him accolades because a customer called me up because he said, "You know what, Steve, Jeff is right." I'm always saying, buy the cheap sugar, there's no difference, you save some money, and Jeff says, don't scrimp on the ingredients, they're the key to your success. Well, it turns out to be more than that. This product that says is a store brand and it says sugar. Well, I don't even think it's on here, but this is beet sugar. This is from beets. It's not the same as cane sugar, which comes from stalks of cane. And it's a much better taste when it's cane sugar. So when Domino says on here, pure premium cane sugar, it's a whole different product. So it does make a difference. Jeff was right. Jeff's off camera, so you can't see him, but he's going like this, and thank you, and this.
Hey, Steve, I noticed these are both empty. Did you measure 2 quarts of each?
No,
That 2 pounds of sugar is not equivalent to 2
those aren't, oh, well, they're not quarts.
No.
I'm already making a lot of mistakes, so we gotta add 2 more pounds of sugar.
No.
1 pound.
Well, you measured it, poured it back into that.
I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll taste it. We'll taste it.
Here,
That always works.
That's
Taste it.
it's water.
Yeah, it's gonna freeze up.
All right.
could use a little more sugar.
Okay, let's, I think it's gonna need a pound.
Okay. I'll use that.
So-
The other one.
Already we're off to a good start in showing you that you don't worry about it. You're experimenting
Perfect.
here. There's nothing wrong with experimenting. There's nothing wrong with mistakes. What you do want to do, besides following the directions, which I didn't do, is you also want to write down any changes that you make. Because if you make 2 or 3 batches of rum raisin, and all of a sudden you say, "Oh, it's number 2 was the second one was the great batch.
I don't like
What
that
did I
much
put
sugar.
in?" And you're
It's okay.
you know, you're all confused
No.
because you made 3 different batches. So make sure you write down what you do. So I doubled up on the liquid. That's why I ended up with so much. I was surprised, which means that my sugar was only half of what I needed in there. So that's why we're not changing the formula. We're just adding the proper amount of sugar.
But, like Steve said, we did it oopsie, easy fix. You always eat your mistakes anyway, so it's not,
You give them out to your neighbors.
yeah, give them out to the people you don't like.
Any questions so far? Nobody? Somebody's got to have a question.
Yes, what
Yeah.
was the final tally on how much sugar we used? So they can add
Well,
it to
it's
their...
still the
It
two.
didn't change.
It didn't change because he added both of these whole, and he was only supposed to do 2 quarts and 2 quarts.
So I was half the sugar. I needed another pound.
I
so-
thought that was an awfully lot when you said it was too much.
I was a little surprised too.
Measure first.
Actually, I wanted to make sure my wife Paula gets these. She wants them for the recycling.
Oh, yes, yes,
Paula's a big recycler, so now we make her happy. Yes, sir.
Much
You
better.
poured the extra sugar in straight into the batch, right?
I'm sorry,
I
what?
saw you poured the extra sugar right in to make up the loss, the difference that you didn't to compensate for the difference.
Yes.
Is there a time frame you had before it starts to freezing and the sugar crystallizes?
Oh, yeah, on Italian ice, probably about 6 or 7 minutes. But do as I say, not as I do. You should mix it all up in a bucket first, because if you were in the wholesale Italian ice business and you were making 200-300 gallons a day and you're dumping the sugar into the machines, you're going to wear the blades. Let me go off camera for a second.
Mike's the biggest pet peeve when he walks off camera.
Yeah, Mike's telling us, don't go out, right, Mike?
Say a word.
So that's a blade for the CB-200, but they're Delrin, and the beauty of them is they're going to last 5-6 years. But it is a soft material compared to hardened stainless steel. So if you're putting sugar in there, it's like being on the beach and grinding it into your skin. Or the sugar is just going to act like sandpaper and wear these down to maybe they'd only last 3 years. So you try not to put the sugar in. Jeff's been doing it for years, but then when Jeff
10
meets-
years, I haven't had a problem with the blades.
in 10 years, you haven't had to buy a part either.
Right.
Because you know me.
So 10 years
Do as he do,
putting
not
sugar
as
in
he
the
says.
machine.
So if you've got a sugar daddy, excuse the pun, you can go ahead and put that sugar in. Otherwise, Chrissy used to be in parts, and she's going to charge her.
It does make a difference. Just because Jeff didn't have an issue doesn't mean that you won't either. Jeff doesn't really make as much Italian ice as most people do because he did ice cream. So your sugar that you would add wasn't nowhere to the extent of an Italian ice business. So constantly, nonstop, always adding sugar, batch, day after day after day, is going to make like sandpaper on the blades.
But once in a while, like today's mistake, it's not going to hurt the machine.
No.
You're not going to do any damage to the machine. So you don't have to worry about it. So yes, we are speaking out of both sides of our mouth. Anybody else at the moment?
That brings up an interesting point. There's the science of this stuff, which is the formulas you follow, and then there's the art, which is how much sugar. You taste it, and even though your recipe calls for a pound, you taste it, I think I need some more sugar. Whatever the reason is. So you add more. That's the art. That's why your ice cream and ices will taste different than yours. And that's okay. Why do I bother?
What'd you walk off for?
Huh?
Why'd you walk off for?
I thought Steve was standing there waiting to interject.
No, I wasn't. No.
Okay.
Continue.
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I just told him the difference between art and science. You know, the science is, here's your recipes. I have recipe cards there. I've got 100 recipe cards. That's the science. The art is right before you turn on the freezing, you taste it, and then you adjust.
Yeah.
That's the art.
So in other words, it's mathematically, this is absolutely perfect. That's the science. And the art is, will anybody buy it? And they're not buying our pickle Italian ice.
Well, you know, I don't know, some people are from different parts of the country, and sweetness may not be in vogue there.
Yeah.
You know, you get the younger people, they don't want it stupid sweet. And I do. So they would have to adjust my recipes. Even though it's a recipe card, they would have to adjust it by tasting as they go, and then change the recipe a little.
No, you're absolutely right, because in Philadelphia, where they call it not Italian ice, but Philadelphia, they call it water ice, which is an awful name. They like their product, much as Christi said, smoother and creamier. And that's, as Christi said, the sugar content. For me, it's too sweet. I like the New York ice. I like some texture. But you sell to what your market wants. If everybody walking in says, do you sell water ice? You know immediately what formula you've got to do. Add a little more sugar. If they're all saying, if they all have a Bronx accent or a Brooklyn accent, and they're saying, give me a cherry lemon ice, then you know that that's going to be a formula with less sugar in it. So it's really reading your crowd. The other thing, how are we doing in there?
Good.
I've got this container for you. The other interesting thing about Italian ice is you can know in advance. If you're doing a festival, you can know in advance what's going to sell. If you're doing the Feast of San Gennaro down in Manhattan, Little Italy, it's going to be any flavor you want as long as it's lemon. Lemon is even a generic term. You can walk into a pizza parlor in New York and order up a raspberry ice, and you'll say, give me a raspberry lemon ice, because lemon ice is just the generic term for it, like, say, water ice. If you're doing the Puerto Rican Day Parade down Fifth Avenue, bring the coconut flavors. If you're doing the festivals down in Lower Texas, bring the pickle Italian ice. It actually will sell. So you can have an idea in advance what is going to sell to what market. Don't bring lemon ice to a Jewish festival, because it's going to be mainly chocolate. And I don't know any other food that is that way, that you can look at it and say, okay, we're going here, and this is what the market will be, and this is what it's going to sell. If it's going to be a children's birthday party, throw all the rules out the window, bring bubble gum, bring blue. I don't know what flavor blue is, but bring blue ice, and bring bubble gum, and bring any crazy thing that you can think of, and it'll sell to the kids.
Oh, especially if you had like a gummy bear on top or something like that. That really grabs the kids' attention.
A THC gummy bear?
Definitely not.
A vitamin gummy bear?
No tie-dye, Jeff. No. We left the 70s back a long time ago.
Never.
No, we lived the 70s.
Not me.
Blasphemous. How do we look?
Still
Another 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a nice color, though.
It is.
It's a very nice
So
color.
here's another.
Skin tone.
Even though this is just cranberry juice and orange juice, it's very pretty looking, and the texture is very smooth. So you put it in a squeeze cup. Steve introduced me to these. This is a solo pleated cup. You put it into this little pleated cup, and you squeeze it from the bottom as you eat it. You sell this for $1.50, $2. put it in this fancy glass, you can call it sorbet and sell it for $5. That's the difference of sorbet and Italian ice. You go to Harlem, it's
One of
Italian
these
ice.
cups?
You go to Beverly Hills, it's sorbet. It's the difference.
Yeah, right behind you. Didn't you used to work for Solo?
Yes, I did.
We have
She ran
squeeze cups
production
here?
lines
We
making
have
the
squeeze
beer
cups?
cups. Trivia, Christi
use
can
them
tell you
for
this. Christi, tell them about the beer cups.
Oh, so
I think that's fascinating
it was all
for a beer drinker.
It was all plastic. So we used to make the plastic cups that you drink out of, and if you didn't have your calcium right in the plastic, whenever Budweiser would pour their beer in there, it would make it foam too much. So you'd have to adjust your plastic. So if you ever get a cup that starts foaming too much, it's not the beer, it's the yeast reaction to the plastic.
Who knew?
Yes.
One interesting point, different cups yield different amounts. I know with snowballs, because we had snowball business before, it's penny per ounce. What's the cost per yield, per cup size for making? Say, for a snowball, it's a cup, penny an ounce, so an 8 ounce will cost you 8 cents to make it, plus cup and spoon, so you put another 2 cents. Yeah, 10 cents. What's your profit margin? What are you talking?
So how I teach my customers to do profit is it was 2 quarts of this and 2 quarts of that in your sugar. And it makes 1.5 gallons. There's 192 ounces in 1.5 gallons. So whatever the cost of this was, so this was like $8, but probably drop it down to $5. So it took $5 to make 1.5 gallons. And then you take that, you times it by
That's 30 servings.
yeah, so then you take your 30 servings by how much you would serve, how much you would charge it, and that's your profit you're going to make minus your $5. So if you sell,
It's criminal how
Yeah.
much money you make.
so if you sell it for what, $4? So 4 times the 30 servings and then minus the $5, that's your profit.
Now I can make
Crazy, isn't it?
I can make the exact same product using an extract, a concentrated extract. You just put 2 ounces in, and there you go.
Sure.
And my cost drops down to about
Ready?
$4.50 to make
good, right?
2.5 gallons by just using an extract. The difference is this will sell great at Yankee Stadium where it's hot and it's a captive audience, and this is going to have people around the block lined up to get it because it's so good. So I can make you a much cheaper ice, but this will get you a reputation. Yes.
Okay, right?
When you say that, are you making a simple syrup base to make that?
I'm not making a simple syrup.
So it's just a straight concentrate mixed with
That's a concentrated extract like vanilla. This
mixed
would
with
be
orange
cherry.
juice straight.
Yeah, just 2 ounces.
We're ready.
Take it away. See how fast that comes out of the machine? That's important to your making a product, is to get it out quickly so you have consistency. And so what we'll do,
Another bucket.
I'm
yeah,
going to start putting these in cups. Did you?
so we're going to pass this around to you. So just give us a second to stir it up and serve it up. Now, what you would do in normal production is if you were going to spend the next 8 hours making ice, you would start with a light flavor like lemon, and then you would go to orange, and then maybe you go to the orange cranberry, and then maybe to raspberry, and then down to blueberry. Because each one of those is a fruit, and each one is going to, there's so little left in the machine, each one is going to be covered over by the darker flavor. So orange has a bit of a tangy taste to it. So if I make lemon, and there's a little bit of lemon left in the machine, it'll be covered up by the orange. Then the orange cranberry will cover up the regular orange, and then the cherry, I'm already into a pale pink color, so if I go to cherry, which is going to be a deep red, I can cover that up, and then I can go to blueberry, or blue ice, which is really dark. So I don't have to do a lot of rinsing out. You just plan your production. You don't go from chocolate ice to lemon ice. That wouldn't make sense. You would do lemon ice and then chocolate ice. And the real reality when you get into business is you're not going to make just one batch of this. You're probably going to make 3, 4, 5, 6 batches of it because it's a popular flavor and it's selling well. I get calls from people and they say, I've got this Italian ice and it's been in my freezer for 3 months. Is it any good? Oh, how cold is it? 10 below. What flavor is it? It's bubblegum licorice. And you've heard this on my other videos. I repeat my jokes. I told the lady, yes, it's as good as the day you made it, but the fact is it's been in the freezer for 6 months. People don't like bubblegum licorice. Get rid of the flavor. It's a lousy flavor. Move?
Yes.
Move.
Move.
Oh. So how is it?
It's delicious.
Okay, I'm off camera. All right, now you're, yes, go ahead.
When Jeff was opening and closing the chamber to make sure that it's ready,
Yes.
what is he exactly looking for? Is it the way that it drops? Is it?
Yes, he's looking for the way it cuts off. If it comes out runny, it's not ready. We know the approximate time is 14 minutes, but we're going to start checking it about 12 and see how it looks, because every flavor is going to have a different sugar content. Now, if you see my lemon ice formula, it also uses 2 pounds of sugar, and this one uses 2 pounds of sugar. But this has more sugar in it because of the orange juice and the cranberry. So that means in my head, my 14 minutes is now going to go up to 15. And these are all approximations. When I watch my wife Paula do any baking, she doesn't set the oven at 350 for 22 minutes, and then when it's at 22 minutes, just pull the baked goods out. She checks them. She sees if they're ready. She knows it's an approximation of where I am, where she is in the baking process, and we're doing the same in the freezing process. So we started something new last class. Instead of standing up here taking all the accolades and marvels about how great it is, and we are, we want to learn on this formula. So our question is, what would you do different here? What do you not like about it? Is it too tangy? Is it too sweet? Anybody have any changes to it?
Nothing. Perfect, Christi.
Perfect.
Good call.
Ooh, that is good.
Good. Yep.
The combination is good.
And I didn't eat breakfast, so it works out fine.
Well, another trick too is buy it with the high pulp. Anything, if you use orange juice, get it high pulp, because you can see the pulp in there, and it's a mind thing. So customers see that, oh, fresh, real oranges, and
Good.
technically it is. I mean, it is simply orange.
Nobody's more surprised when a formula comes out than me, because I do it mathematically, and then I hand it to Christi. Christi takes it home and runs it on her machine, and she adapts it to what her family likes, and then that's what we end up running with. So
This was just a whim one. It was a cranberry orange. Now you can also do, I keep putting this in the trash, just orange Italian ice. Just 4 quarts of this and 2 pounds of sugar, and you have, talk about real, it's smoother than this, smooth orange Italian ice, and it's amazing. And I actually packed it in some coolers and took it to the beach with me because of the high sugar content. It froze really well. And I packed a cooler at 6 in the morning, and then about 2:30 in the afternoon on the beach, it was still nice and frozen, ready to eat. So it packs really nicely too, high sugar content stuff does. So you can always sell that for people to go to the beach with. All right, I'm out. Jeff's taking over. See you guys in a little bit.
all right, thank you. This is great. I like this.
We're going to make German. No. Okay. So to commemorate the opening of my new store in Daytona Beach, I thought we would make some beachy stuff. So the first thing we're going to make is, what is it? Beaches Peaches ice cream, but it's not. Last night I changed it, so it's Beaches Peaches cream ice. I thought today we would work from ices to cream ice into ice cream, just like we do in the class. Okay? And I picked these up. These are fancy, overly expensive peaches. And I don't even think they're from Georgia. You won't believe it. Product of Spain.
Wow. They've traveled more than me.
Unbelievable. To get peaches
Had to
when
get a visa.
the peach capital of the world is right next door, Georgia. Oh well, let's give it a shot. Now, I haven't made this before, and it only occurred to me because I saw this at the farm stand, so I figured it looks good. It was pretty, so we'll give that a shot. Cream ice. Cream ice. Your formula for every cream ice, every one, is 3-2-1. And this is based on a 24-quart machine.
Write it down, folks.
Yeah, cream ice is 3-2-1. 3 what? 3 quarts of water. 2 pounds of sugar.
1 quart of mix.
1 quart of mix. Good man. Good man. So we're going to use this. This is a 12-quart machine. It's the same profile as the 24. You couldn't tell looking at it. The difference is the cylinder. The cylinder in a 24-quart will make 1 batch of ice cream, and you'll get 6 gallons out of it, sometimes 7. This one is half that. So the recipe you just got, we cut it in half. Okay? So I'm going to ask you for some help here. How much water do we need?
3 quarts.
3 quarts of water.
I'll get that for you.
I got it. 3 quarts of water. You want to do that?
Sure.
3 quarts. Okay, 3 quarts of water, 1 pound of sugar, and how much mix?
1 quart.
1 quart of mix. Okay, 1 quart of mix. 1 quart of, all right, we'll just add it in. What?
So you only need half quart.
You
only need 1.5.
What is it?
1.5 quarts.
1.5 quarts of what?
Water.
Water. 1.5 quarts. How many times do I have to tell you that?
Yeah, I know. Well, you're trusting me with this after my formula I just made? Come on.
Okay, let's get this right. Otherwise, it's really not going to be good.
1.5.
Okay, 1.5 quarts of water, 1 pound of sugar, and 1/2 quart of mix. I cheat a little bit, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's the IRS. They don't need to know.
Okay, so here's 1.5 quarts of water, 1 pound of sugar, and how much mix? 1 quart? Half a quart. Well, okay. The mix comes in these bladders here, and that's pretty universal. Wherever you get your, it's called ice cream mix, and Steve and I have a problem with that. It's really a blend of cream, sugar, a little vanilla, and skim milk, right?
Yes.
Right. Anyway, but it's pretty well called ice cream mix. If you're, whatever part of the country you're in, and you want to find out where you can get it, just go on Google, put in ice cream mix, comma, your zip code. And that'll get you a bunch of options, at least a good place to start. It can be shipped, it can be frozen. It's pretty good stuff. How much do we need? 1/2 quart. Here's the first tip, right? 1/2 quart. Say when. That's it? Okay.
Those of you who are our age and had a waterbed in college in your dorm, it's like these, that's what these bladders are like. So when you drop one, there's a problem.
All right, so now we have our 3 ingredients. That's it, just 3 ingredients to make cream ice. So we'll start with this. And, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, and now this, and then we have our base for cream ice. Now, what you could do at this point, you could go to the shelf and add anything you want, and it'll be great cream ice. You've got the water, the sugar, and the mix in there. So anything goes now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some peaches. I don't know how many, but I think we can give
Go
it a
for
shot.
it.
Okay.
Too much is never enough.
Correct. We'll start the machine. Get everything mixed up in there. And I'll tell you what, I think,
Oh, good idea.
what we'll do is hold back some of the sauce, or the light syrup, as they call it, and see if we need it. It's a nice jar, isn't it? I have a thing for jars and containers, and I don't know that I want to throw that out. All right, so we'll add some of these. My hands have been sterilized, sanitized, and revitalized, so don't worry about it. And we'll add peach. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's make it easier.
Yeah, I see a pattern here between the two of us. We say a lot of "don't worry about it" and
Right.
forget about it.
Right.
So it must be easy to do.
Tell them what I'm doing here, it can't be done all over.
Why's that?
Well, you can't add all these ingredients into other machines.
Oh, no, of course not.
Just thought I'd
They
throw
won't-
you a bone there.
No, they won't. Yeah, any other batch freezers on the market, they have a little tiny opening like this. You have to puree everything before you put it in there. With an Emery Thompson, everything goes into the machine. Nuts, cookies, candies, the works. So you get a much better profile, flavor profile, than just adding pieces of peaches at the end. If you do that, all you've got is sugar, water, and dairy with peaches added to it. By putting them into the machine, for every particle of sugar, water, and dairy, there's a particle of peach right next to it. So it'll be a much more intense flavor. And when Jeff was saying that you can do any flavor you want, Ralph's Italian Ices up in Staten Island and throughout New York is a friend of ours, and he started doing what he calls ice cream ices. Basically, nobody ever thought of the idea that you could make a mint chip Italian ice or a chocolate chip cookie Italian ice. He said it costs less, it's more refreshing in the summertime, so let's just take a bag of chocolate chip cookies and dump them in with the sugar and water, and you have an incredibly refreshing chocolate chip ice cream that isn't ice cream. It's just sugar and water. So there's a lot of things that you can come up with on your own. Need some of the
Peaches,
liquid?
well, I have a discussion. Peaches are subtle. I tried for 10 years to make a great peach ice cream and never succeeded, because every time I tasted it, it was too subtle for me. I like pow, sockum flavors. So last night I thought about that and I said, well, what are you going to do if it's not peachy enough? So I looked up peaches, and then I found that peach melba. Have you heard of peach melba? I know you have, right?
She was an actress in the 40s.
Peach melba. It's a famous old dessert named after anyway. It doesn't
Melba.
matter. It doesn't matter. So peach melba is peaches and raspberry. So I thought, well, if it's not quite peachy enough, we'll add some raspberry. And now that they're chopped up in there, actually, let me see. Where's the peach juice that was?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's pretty good. We'll start with a little of that. If you were doing this in your store or in your house or whatever, you'd be writing down everything you're adding so that you can replicate it in the future. I just don't care. So we'll try some of this. We'll make it peach melba. This is Tyranny raspberry. We'll just add a little. See what happens. Gives it a nice color too.
So again, at home, you would write down that you just put in you put in 4 ounces of the Tyranny syrup. So that's part of your formula. And then if Jeff decides it needs more, a couple more ounces.
We're good.
6 ounces.
We're good. So now we'll turn it on and we'll start it going. Any questions? So if you're making something, don't be married to the formula. See, if you don't like it, change it in midstream. Before you put on that refrigeration, give it another shot. And make it into something you like or something that you think will sell. Any questions? Yes, sir.
How chopped up will the peaches get?
What?
How chopped up will the peaches get in there?
Well, think about it. Those blades, these blades here are, 2 of them are spinning at 234 revolutions per minute, and they're sharp. So they're going to make it into a pretty fine pulp, if not invisible. Now you can, if you want more stuff, more texture in your ice cream, halfway through, add some more, and it won't pulp it up as much. You'll have pieces. Like when we did cookies, you know, in the machine, you put them in the front, and then halfway through you can add some more cookies. Yes, sir.
So when you're putting the fruit in there, you don't have to blend it up before you put it in there? You get
No, sir.
Okay.
Now, hold on. Let me say this. Depends what you're looking for. Later on, we're going to make something that, yes, we will put in the blender, make powder out of it, and then put it in the machine.
Oh, okay.
So it depends what you're looking for. What part of the country you live in?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. So some of the flavors, you're from Atlanta too, right? Oh.
What a coincidence.
Right, what a coincidence. So it'll depend on what you want coming out. For instance, let's say are you going to open up ice cream, ices, or cream ice?
All 3.
Okay, that won't happen. But let's say ice cream.
Well,
Let's say ice cream. And let's say you want to make Oreo cookie ice cream. Always a big favorite with kids, wherever you are. So do you want your Oreo cookie ice cream to be smooth like vanilla ice cream? Or do you want it to be chunky and crunchy with Oreos running through it? Depends what you want. I personally don't really care about texture. I care about flavor. So I don't really care about that. But if you do, and I'm probably wrong, it would be the first time, but I'm probably wrong. If you do want texture, then add them in as the batch grows. Like if I added them in now, more peaches, it would have less chance to dissolve and break up. So you'd get more pieces of peaches. Which if I had more peaches, I would do.
there's a great ice cream up in Atlanta that you can get in the supermarket called High Road Craft Ice Cream. And they use our machinery. And the difference is High Road Craft Ice Cream is making it the way Jeff just described, where they're taking half of the Oreo cookies and putting it into the machine. That's what I call my flavor, because for every particle of dairy, there's now a particle of cookie next to it. It grinds them all up, and it turns it a nice chocolatey brown color for the ice cream. And then there's the identity. You look at the ice cream and say, what is it? And you don't see any chunks, so it doesn't have as much appeal. So as the ice cream's coming out, we take each cookie and break it into about 3 pieces and shake it in as it comes out. Flavor in the machine, identity as it's coming out. Here's one of my favorite ice creams that Bluebell that my grandfather put into business in 1910. They no longer use our machines because they're so big and worldwide that they just couldn't keep up with the volume. This is a vanilla, but if they make, when they make, they call it cookies and cream, we call it Oreo cookie. They are running only vanilla at 1,000 gallons an hour through a narrow tube, and then they're injecting pieces of cookies into it as it comes out. So it's a white ice cream for the most part with pieces of Oreo cookie. It tastes good. It's a good ice cream. It's not as good as High Road Craft out of Atlanta where you're from.
Or their own.
Or your own. because it doesn't have the flavor in the machine. It only has the identity. Yes, you'll bite into the Bluebell and you'll taste Oreo cookie, but the whole experience with your ice cream is going to be Oreo cookie. It's a world of difference, and we're the only machines that can do this. There's not another machine on the market where you can just take a bag of Oreo cookies and dump it in like this to get that flavor. So it is truly homemade ice cream the way my grandfather was making 117 years ago. So that's what you're going to make. Meanwhile, I keep this Bluebell homemade vanilla for myself because I love it. It's got bad chemicals in it. It's got oh, you can't read it all. Yeah, no, artificial there.
There's an inch of ingredients.
High fructose corn syrup. No, not for me. No, but
You're still going to have some though.
you've got to have a little decadence in your life. So it's going back in the freezer. Well, no one will know it's there.
We do have some peach things in here. So far, we're on a pink roll.
Excellent.
Pink.
Yeah, I should have worn my pink shirt today.
That's all right. Any other questions? Do you get the fact that yours will be yours and mine is mine and his is his? Do you get that? Because New Orleans, Atlanta, Tennessee, Idaho, all different. And people have different expectations of their ice cream.
And when you get into the Italian ice business, you're going to tell everybody the same lie that my 38,000 customers around the world tell, and that is, oh no, you can't make this. These recipes came from my great-great-grandfather from Genoa, Italy. You know, well, no, they came from Jeff Markow and Steve Thompson, and I haven't been to Genoa, and I don't know that they let him in. So it is a great lie, though, that people always say. Secret recipe, handed down through the family, and we teach thousands of people a year how to make ices and ice cream, and every one of them will have a slightly different, taste and a different flavor profile. Jeff's is C'est La Vie, and if you watch quick enough and figure it out, you can see what he's using or buy his book that has the formulas in it. Mine is strictly mathematical, where I'm measuring everything and I know that I need X, Y, and Z to get to the finished product.
Except for that extra pound of sugar this morning.
And that's where we then make adjustments and write it down. So you're going to do a blend of both. It's scientific,
and science.
it's scientific and very unscientific.
Okay,
and the
here we
result
go.
is something that's delicious. Oh, look at that. I'll start serving that. Thank you.
A lot of peach bits in there, but peaches are subtle. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could buy a jar of peach flavoring from one of those companies. They all make them. They make all the different flavors. I don't prefer to do that, but you could.
Jeff, I know I'm off camera, but there are executive chefs who will talk all day long and say that if you want to do anything with any of the melons, honeydew, cantaloupe, watermelon, they're all delicious when you eat them. But if you just squeeze a honeydew or a watermelon, there's no flavor there. It's just liquid. And so they do add an extract to it to bolster the flavor.
Correct. Now, I did make cantaloupe ice cream last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was pretty good, but subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to wow you.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You must have been watching us on TV.
Thanks. I'll get this, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's ready to...
Well, I think we need more than that.
Pass them around. I'll keep making more while you pass these. How's
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
We don't want to keep more.
Right, when I had the column, yeah.
7, 8,
I got an idea for that,
12, 13, 14, 16.
because that'll drive me nuts all day.
Jeff, you're talking to yourself again.
What?
You're talking.
4 more.
I know it's a private conversation, but you're talking to yourself again. Yeah. Yeah, butt out. It's a private conversation.
What is this called?
Delicious.
It is peach Melba.
Peach Melba.
Beach peach Melba.
1 more.
She was a stripper in the 1900s.
I was going to say, I thought you dated a girl named Delicious. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, delicious galore. Mom didn't like her.
Peaches galore.
All right, I'm going to try it.
And by the way, this is an ice cream. It's cream ice, which we discovered yesterday Monday is unbelievable.
Oh, you'd
Cream
never
ice.
know that wasn't ice cream.
I know.
That is good.
This is good, yeah. It's
You-
not strong, perfect.
You'd never know it's not ice cream.
That little bit of syrup is perfect. It's not overwhelming.
So what size jar of pizza you had?
How many?
What size?
You know, we looked this morning. We thought it would be it's by weight. That was a 6-pound jar of peaches.
And also, I seen that in some of y'all previous videos, where y'all cut back a little on the water, and when y'all add the syrup for the peach
Yeah,
to give it a little more of a flavor
right.
from it. And so that would give it a little.
You know, had I planned this a little better, right now Georgia peaches are to die for. I mean, down your face, the juice and everything. Had I pre-planned this a little better, I would have stopped at a roadside place near my house and gotten a whole basket of Georgia peaches, and then had you guys peel them while I'm doing something else.
I thought about that on the ride here,
Yeah,
but I didn't want to delay.
right.
There is another way to look at selling this product, and that is peaches are only in season for a very short amount of time. Now, I'm from New York, so we think that the best peaches in the world are not from Georgia, they're from Jersey, down by the South Shore. And you can drive down a back road in New Jersey, and I tell my staff, there is no such state as New Jersey, just so you know. It's Jersey, not New Jersey, Jersey. Anyway, the peaches are fantastic. So one way to sell this is those peaches are ready in mid-August, coming up towards Labor Day. So you put fresh peach ice cream on the menu while peaches are in season, and when peaches are out of season, you take it off the menu. And people will scream. They'll say, "Where's the peach ice cream?" Hey, sorry, peaches are out of season. Come back next year. And they'll grumble, and they'll be lined up next year. Tom Carvel taught me that one. Tom Carvel was a series of soft ice cream parlors, and he had banana ice cream for the month of July every year. And that's the only time, banana soft serve ice cream. It was to die for. And but the end of July 31st, that was taken off the market. September, April, June. Yes, I did. I have to count my fingers. But he would take it off at the end of July. And you had to wait until come back next year. And we waited. And we were, July 1st, we were online for Carvel's banana soft ice cream. So that's another way to look at it, too. Something like strawberry, something like blueberry, you have to have year-round, which if you're making it Jeff's and my way, that means you're going to have to use blueberries either that you froze in June or you're going to be getting them from Argentina and they're going to taste like cardboard. But you have to have blueberry ice cream if you're going to serve it pretty much year-round. But peaches are a perfect flavor to make it just seasonal, short season, and then get rid of it. You'll leave them wanting for more, and they'll come back.
Just as a point of note, the best peaches aren't even Georgia. Colorado, once a year, you get Palisades peaches. And if you have a minute, look it up. You know about that? Yeah. Right, only for like a month or something, and you can't even, people scoop them up. but in Colorado, Palisades peaches, very famous.
Could the quality of that be dependent on the fact that marijuana is legal? And they're all going, oh, wow. No comment. No, he's not commenting. He's too much of a diplomat that I'm not.
Yeah, I'm a diplomat. Yes.
Question for Jeff. If you were to guesstimate, how much syrup do you think you want to put in there? That raspberry?
Oh, 4 ounces, maybe. That's all. Only because, you know what? It's, Nadal asked how many ounces of the light syrup, it was light syrup, not heavy syrup, that we add. And probably 4 ounces because it's really sugar water. You know, that's really all it is.
Yeah, that one. That's good for answering that one. No, the raspberry.
Oh, how many ounces of raspberry? Well, I'll tell you, because it was a new bottle. Hold on.
It's around.
What I'm doing next. Oh, good news. We're going to take a
half a 750.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. If anybody wants to get up and walk around, use the restrooms.
Did anybody try it out there?
Go visit Sammy and Stella. Sammy's out at the vet, but Stella's here. And we'll meet back in 5 minutes. I'm not beyond a sales pitch from time to time. I do sell machinery. But I did want to tell you that Jeff is very coy about how he makes his ice cream in these videos. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, a pinch of that. It all gets very confusing, but he has condensed it down. He has Mystic Ice Cream. That was his original store, and he's got his recipes in here, a lot of them. And if you're just starting out, you're going to find there's a lot of information out there, and most of it is wrong. If you are going to use Good Housekeeping magazine or something like that, and you find a great formula, great lemon ice formula to feed the family, none of the recipes are going to translate out. You know, if you take a recipe that's going to make half a quart and translate it up to my 11-gallon batch freezer, you know, you're going to be cracking 47 egg yolks. You know, it just doesn't work. So these recipes, you can start your business on this. A combination of this and we're at 429 videos, and now we're adding 6 more today that you'll see next week. You know, it's just nonstop, boring Steve and Jeff and now Christi all the time.
But there's other stuff in there about equipment and procedures. And
that's true. There's equipment, procedures. There's a lot of information in here, so you can get this. Jeff has a website. Or no, he doesn't have a website. He has an email address. Very primitive. And I have to spell it for you, and then when you get it wrong and he doesn't answer, call me because you got the spelling wrong. I'll pronounce it. It's ex-hippie, but he spells hippie wrong because, you know, those of us from the 60s, you know, what we say is, if you remember the 60s, you really weren't there. You know, it's kind of just like a little frazzled brain, you know, of the 60s. So it's X, the letter X, and then Hippee, hippie. AXHIPPEE, and get this, there are still people on it at AOL.com. Oh my gosh, how old is that? I mean, talk about dating yourself. He's still wearing, you know, the tight green pants, you know, doing this.
Oh, geez.
So check it out. It's a good book, and I think it'll help you.
I have 5 more here.
Oh, well, this is for the people watching on the YouTube.
Okay.
But Jeff, we're doing a class today, and we have a large audience, and Jeff has some of them available. He's going to sign them for an additional small cost.
Oh.
We're going to make matcha tea ice cream. My wife Paula and Christi came up with this. They were talking about the healthiness of matcha tea, and no, I never heard of it either.
BT Bistro.
But I did. It's what?
We went to that bistro.
Oh yes, they went out to a bistro and had matcha tea. But I got to tell you, we made this as an experiment, and I really liked it. It's what Jeff was talking about, subtle flavors. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice subtle flavor. I've got all different pints of ice cream in my freezer at home, and I keep going back to the matcha tea. I'm not a tea drinker. I don't have a cup of tea. I drink coffee that'll put hair on your spleen. But tea is not my thing. But this ice cream I really liked. So that's why we're going to make it. And I'm getting a reputation for making oddball ices and ice creams. And now Christi is chiming in on that. So we're going to use a quart and 8 ounces of the dairy blend. And this will be up on the website. My formulas all go up at the website. Our IT head in Houston, Texas, will have them up there by later next week. So it's going to be a quart, 8 ounces of dairy blend, 1 ounce of the matcha tea. Stuff is very powerful. You only need an ounce. We found that out the hard way. We used about a quarter pound.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not good. Honey. And I'm not making a pass. No, honey, pass me the stuff. No. Jeff taught me this. He said if you're buying a 55-gallon drum of honey for Walmart for $12.95, you have a serious problem. And it's not just getting a 55-gallon drum of honey to bring it home. It's awful stuff. You have to buy a quality honey in order to make a good product. Again, I don't drink tea, so I don't know anything about honey. But you find a blend that you like, and that's what you use in your different products that require honey. But if you're paying $2.95 for a quart of it, I can tell you right away, it's not a good product. So the honey is very important. We're going to use 4 ounces of honey. We're going to use 4 ounces of cane sugar, Domino cane sugar, the pure stuff, and half a lemon, which the last time I saw it, Stella was rolling it around. Oh, there it is. She was rolling it around on the floor. She thought it was one of her new toys. We sanitized it.
It was
lemon.
just the outside.
The lemon, not Stella.
It wasn't cut at the time when she was doing it.
Different lemon.
Yeah, different lemon. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to use the CB-200. We realize we don't have enough videos on the 200, and it's a very popular machine to get people into business, and so we sell a lot of them. I personally think you need the 350 because labor is going to get more and more expensive for you. In the future, labor is going to be your #1 cost in the store. And right now you just say, oh, well, it's me and my wife, so labor doesn't count. You say that on Shark Tank and they're going to throw you right off the set. However, you would be correct. When you're just starting out a store, your labor doesn't count. It's your business. You're going to put in 18 hours. You're emptying the trash cans. You're buying. You're doing the QuickBooks. You're doing everything. But as the business grows, you've got to, at some point in time, say, you know, my business is not like this and I do everything. My business is like this and I'm up at here and I've got to oversee it being done because I don't have time to go unlock the doors at 6 in the morning. Someone else is going to have to do that. So as your business grows, your expertise will be more important in other places. I hope you keep making the ice cream just because it's so much fun. You don't want to delegate that completely. So, no, you're not, maybe your time doesn't matter right now at the beginning of the business, but it will in 6 months, a year and a half, when the opportunity costs are somebody else could be doing some of your jobs while you are out looking for that second or third store.
I'm getting all this if you want to get the...
Quick question.
Okay. Yes.
For Christi, me and Cole.
I'm insulted.
Yeah, me and Cole were asking, why weren't you weighing the tea? Since it's powder, aren't you supposed to weigh it?
So that was my thought too when I started working with Steve, but Steve will weigh some things and measure some things. So that's a Steve question.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
Said that if it's powder, put it on the scale. If it's liquid, use the...
That's how I was always taught, but Steve does it way different.
But when you're using a teaspoon's a teaspoon.
No, I thought you said it was 1 ounce. You said 1 ounce of
Yeah,
tea,
it's
correct?
1 ounce.
Yeah. You're right.
No, just wanted to. I want to know if that ounce is an ounce or is it maybe more if we weighed over there.
If we had a scale that I thought was that accurate, we could do it. That's a very accurate scale, and you can zero out the cup, but you're still talking about 1 ounce.
Correct.
That's going to be pretty hard to do. So if you look up on a chart on Google, weights and measures, they'll tell you what the equivalent is, and that's what I do. Because to me, it's got to be simple. I mean, you're not going to go out and buy a $600 scale to use a teaspoon 2 times. You know, it's so much easier. So there are, yes, I have some times where I don't, do everything exactly the same. Sugar, I always weigh out. because I'm never using 1 ounce of sugar. I'm using large quantities usually.
We just need
let's see.
the dairy mix.
You need the dairy mix. Okay, let me get that. Oh, it's right here. How much of it do you need? We need 1 quart and 8 ounces.
So did you like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Paula?
Has anybody had cold brew matcha green tea? Not the Lipton green tea in the bottles, or not the green tea you buy to steep in a... No one?
I think I tried it once.
Oh my gosh, it's the most amazing flavor ever. Yeah. Do they? Yeah. I'm not a Starbucks
And then I know they make like bubble teas like that too. They have them. Yeah, I tried it once.
We went to
How did it taste better?
BT Bistro and
Asian restaurants.
in Tampa. Yeah, it's a Vietnamese restaurant that we went to, and they had matcha green tea, and it was the best.
I need something to measure 8 ounces. Here we go. Yes, there's a gentleman right back there with a question.
I'm just surprised that you're like talk about matcha as if you don't know what it is. Up
I
in
don't.
Seattle, matcha is everything. We use it in everything.
Oh, is it?
It's my number 2 flavor selling ice cream. I match it with strawberry. We sell it in bubble tea, coffee,
And what
everything.
exactly is matcha?
Matcha is a type of green tea. So
Here, you can pass this around so everybody
it
can
comes from
read it.
Japan. I personally import it from Japan directly, and it comes in very different qualities, so it can get really pricey. I mean, a bag like that of the highest quality can get up to $2,000, but depending on what you're using
Steve
it
paid
for.
87 cents for that.
Right, exactly. So
I think this was
So
like
it's matcha grown in
$17,
Tennessee, probably.
but this little bit goes far.
Okay, not knowing what matcha is, I plead the fifth. I'm from the south. I'm from the South Bronx, and
That was Paula.
I'm from the South Bronx, and matcha is some guy with a big ego walking around getting out of a tricked out car.
Now, you say it's
That's
big
matcha.
there. In what form?
In mainly bubble tea. So we make them with milk tea, which is essentially tea and milk.
Pour all
So
of this
you
in there,
would
mix it, and
you would
taste
go
it.
to a Starbucks and have one or a cup of that.
Starbucks would serve it as if it was coffee, and they would make it that way too. Where you just put the matcha and then you would filter it. It's kind of like cold brew, and then it would come out. But depending on the quality of the matcha and how much of it you use, it really determines. But it's also very bitter, and people tend to not want to match it up with sugar, and so they just kind of like that strong taste.
Well, how about honey or?
No, I mean, everybody. It's up to everybody. But when I serve our bubble tea, I match it with non-dairy creamer.
Why is it called bubble tea?
You take a straw and you put it in the tea and you go, and it makes bubbles. I'm gonna interrupt you. We're gonna go ahead and make this because we have time constraints. So we're putting in the sugar.
Use
And
that to scoop the honey out.
oh, you're gonna make me do it, huh?
Well,
Okay.
here's that, and then your half a lemon. So this is the art that Jeff was talking about. So we did the science. Now this is the art.
We hope.
Yeah. So we did a couple test batches, and then
I love it. I think it's
Yeah.
great. There's a duck in here.
Duck?
Did you? Yes. What? You said duck?
and the
That's what I was
CB.
thinking.
Here's the. Go ahead.
All right.
The matcha's in front of you.
Oh boy. $2,000 worth of matcha right into there. You must be good at that price.
And then your half a lemon.
Are we making straight ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the CB-200 we definitely don't have a lot of videos of, but I've been recently talking to quite a few customers about the CB-200 because this is super popular in pizzerias, push carts, restaurants, things like that, where they want
Wanna
to
add some
offer
zest?
ice cream but don't
Nah.
need the capacity of
Yeah,
the
it won't show up in the
CB-350.
green.
So the CB-200 makes 3 quarts, so you can get about 3 gallons an hour. It is a fun little machine. I mean, you can take it around anywhere with you. This one is a 220, but we also have 115 volt, so you can plug it right into a normal outlet anywhere you want to go. It is way heavier than it looks. It's 120 pounds, so 2 people is what you would need to move it with. But it can make super premium texture ice cream, sorbets, all of that fun stuff.
Gelato,
Gelato,
dairy-free.
dairy-free.
Ugh.
The only thing, so that's the biggest common question I get. What's the difference between this one and this one, just besides the volume? Obviously, this one has an IOC, so you have the ability to control your overrun. So you can drop it and make it really, really thick, like a gelato and a custard, or you can make it really high to make a homemade ice cream, which is super fluffy. And this one is just one set speed only. It's a really fun machine. I'm still trying to talk him into letting me have one of these at home too, but it's not working.
What's the 1 set speed on that one?
It makes like about it's not 100% overrun, so it gets about a super premium ice cream out of it. It's a great little machine.
We can go as low as 50% overrun.
Yeah.
34?
Yeah.
No, well, you know, the speed doesn't.
That's homemade.
The speed doesn't. Yeah, that's homemade. That's maximum. But the speed doesn't matter because it's the manufacturer of the machine. I have no idea what Capajani's speeds are, and they wouldn't relate to my machine. Where it's not a 1-to-1. It's just what happens to work on my machines.
CB-200 is 210 RPMs.
Thank you. That's our VOG intercom, the voice of God.
Did you want to?
Go ahead.
Oh, me? With it all lumpy?
Yeah, I don't.
You don't what?
He doesn't want to get
I know it's
near it.
perfect.
Everybody, you're going to make everybody so upset over here.
I won't tell you what he told me out in the hall.
Okay, how'd it taste?
Good.
Maybe we shouldn't share it. Maybe we should keep it ourselves.
No.
Any questions so far? Can I raffle this off to anyone? There's still about $1,800 left in here.
We got
Maybe a
another
buck.
2,000 right here.
$20 a cup.
Well, this stuff I think was, Paula had bought it, and I think it was about $17 for the bag.
Now, Christi and I differ from Jeff. Oh, what a surprise. Jeff puts the product in and turns it on and lets it spin for 3 or 4 minutes, which is wasting time. And then he turns that on, then he turns on the refrigeration. We turn on everything at once. We turn on dasher, that. And now if I'm going to add things like cookies, I'm still adding them. If I'm doing, if I want some vanilla in, I can do that. I'm doing a lot of stuff because for the first, say on this one, say about the first 5 minutes, it's getting cold, but nothing is happening. It's like watching water boil. You'd have to talk to a scientist to explain it, but when you're boiling water, it just sits there and it doesn't do anything. It's, you know, a watch pot never boils. It's just doing nothing at all, so we have plenty of time to add stuff while we're freezing. But that boiling water just sits there, and actually the temperature is rising, and all of a sudden it hits a point, 212 Fahrenheit, where it snaps. And you look back, you turn away and you look back and your water's boiling like crazy. It just happens instantaneously. It just can't take it any longer. In the freezing process, it stays a liquid for quite a long time, and then boom, it starts to turn into ice cream. So you have plenty of time, and it's going to mix very fine because actually it's mixing for the next 4 minutes, and yet it's still freezing at the same time. So we're saving time. And a lot of this is about time.
Oh, you already did? Well, gosh, you did it fast.
I didn't want to interrupt the class.
Yes, sir.
Do you not add vanilla to anything?
Not to this.
No, actually not today, but I'll show you what I use.
I will. Next one.
I use Lockheed Vanilla. It's spelled Lochead. There's a lot of vanillas on the market. This is what I think is the best one. And Lockheed makes different types of vanillas. Pure vanilla is up around $700 a gallon. This is an all-natural vanilla, which still meets all my qualifications, means it doesn't have chemicals in it. And this is about $110 a gallon. And this is an excellent product and made for ice cream. Vanilla is really one of the most important things that you'll work with. So what might make a great bakery vanilla isn't going to be quite the same as what would make a great ice cream vanilla. And this is a family business, and they've been around a long time, And so if you need information on that, you can call me.
Want to try it?
All my machines, speaking of calling me on this, all my machines come with a parts and labor warranty, but they also come with lifetime technical support. Now that doesn't mean we're guaranteeing an O-ring for 45 years. It means you'll be able to call here anytime you want and ask any technical question you have. I mentioned earlier this morning, one of the top 2 questions that people call about is the door leaking because they left it open. And another one is on a water-cooled machine. The machine runs for about 4 minutes and then shuts itself off, and it's overheated because there's a water line going to it and it's been turned off. Those are the calls that Mike, who you hear on the intercom, handles, and he's the best in the industry at it. But we also get questions like, where do I buy 2.5-gallon tubs? Whose vanilla do I use? How do I get the best deal on a dipping cabinet? Who has a great hardening cabinet? Where do I get an all-natural red dye? So any questions like that, even though you haven't purchased a machine, you're still now able to call, and please do. You can call here, email me. I can write you more details, and I answer emails from about 6 in the morning till 10 at night, 7 days a week. So emails are good too. But if you have a burning question about how to make something or where to get it, call Christi or me, and we'll be glad to help you. If we don't know the answer, we'll tell you that, and we'll find out someone who does. So you don't have to go it alone and wonder, well, do I buy this Chinese-made dipping cabinet that they're selling at Webstrant or some of the other discount places when you want to get something that's going to, act properly. I don't think you can see it on camera. I have a Nelson dipping cabinet over there. It's 24 years old, and I haven't even cleaned the condenser on it. Shame on me, but it just keeps running. So any way we can help you like that, by all means, just call us or email us. How are we looking? Okay.
You'll be surprised.
You weren't believable. You weren't
You
believable.
stick with your diabetes Payday.
It's just, yeah.
That's
I'm more
so
of
classic,
this.
Though.
Yeah.
Everybody makes Payday, though, Jeff. This is different. Yeah.
Why do you think?
Huh? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Why do you think everybody
I'm
makes
sorry, I still
Payday
can't hear you.
and they don't make that?
Because it's good.
Right, because Payday's good.
Any
I
questions
don't
so
like
far?
Payday.
No? Everybody knows everything. You must have
I
taken
don't like
Jeff's
any
class
candy
before
bar
you got
but
here.
Butterfinger. That's it. I don't.
Jeff, you're making, well, what are we doing next? We're having, no, you're next. Beachside turtle cheesecake. Now that sounds good. That sounds very interesting.
Anything I make following this,
Oh, come on. This is how you expand your mind.
Absolutely.
Remember all the acid you did in college? This is same thing. You're expanding your mind by
You
bringing
can't
new
succeed
flavors.
until you fail.
Excuse me?
You can't succeed until you fail.
Oh, very good. You're going to put that on a little plaque and sell them? I think I remember that's like Ringo Starr's "Nothing difficult is ever easy." That's an air-cooled machine. This one is a little noisier than others. How's it look?
Good. I left my spatula.
Ah. Want it?
Really?
Oh, my.
Oh, look at the color. Can you see that? That is beautiful.
Perchance, is it green?
It is green.
Like I said, it's just 3 quarts, but that 3 quarts, if you just keep doing it back to back to back, you'll get a lot out of it.
We're going to call it the green dot.
You do that. I think everybody will be very surprised.
And how?
Do you want to put another container under there?
Okay.
All right. I was about to hand them to you.
So those of you who are watching, oh, we're over here. Sorry. Those of you who are watching the video, we have a large audience here, and they're dead silent. And I guarantee you, as soon as we break for lunch and the cameras are off, they'll kind of all come rushing up with questions. It happens over and over. I got to try this, though I know it's good.
Yeah, after you had me taste the mix, you're like, no, go ahead.
Well, it didn't look fully mixed up yet.
It wasn't. You gotta taste past it.
That's good. It's just what it should be.
Yep. But we'll
Wait a
have
minute. It's just what it should be.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means it tastes like matcha should.
Correct.
If you are not interested in matcha tea and would rather have a Heineken, then it doesn't taste like a Heineken.
Well, we're gonna have the matcha expert back there let us know what he thinks.
Yes.
All the machines sound like that are compressor, like loud like that?
No, only this one.
Just the baby one?
Yeah, because this one has dual fans in it, because I knew when we designed it that it was going to go into a lot of 100-degree temperature restaurants. They're the buying market for it. That, and for people who don't have the money yet for a 350. This one. So I can show you the difference. This one is just not very loud.
And that one's not water cooled.
This is also air cooled. That's not loud.
No. We heard it yesterday. That's perfect. That's perfect.
And this one, because it has
I'm
two
sorry.
dual fans, you can hear it. Because it's going into a restaurant, and it's invariably going to be 100 degrees in the kitchen.
All the heat.
Yeah, from all the other equipment, restaurants do not put the money, they don't put anything into the kitchen. There's an old expression in restaurants, the money's made at the tables, not in the kitchen. You're not making any money in this area. You're making it out there where the tables are.
Again?
So the patrons get everything and the chef sweats.
It's like a perfect combination of the matcha and the honey. Like
You like it? Oh, good.
Did you add sugar to this? The sugar wasn't probably necessary. I mean, it's got to really.
We need it for freezing.
Crystallization.
That was one of the test batches that we did without sugar, and it needed the sugar.
So put a crystallizer in the sugar to keep it.
It helped a lot. So what do you guys think?
It's going to taste even
It's
better
really
once
good.
it gets hard.
It's just
Yeah.
really
Yes,
good.
and it
It's very
does.
smooth.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Yeah? All
Based
right
on what he was
then.
saying, yeah, I'm very surprised.
I would
And
do even less matcha.
less?
Yeah, and then I would eliminate the sugar.
Well, we like the sugar.
Yeah.
It's only 4 ounces, it's not much.
No.
But we could go down on the matcha, because like I said, we put in last time about a half a pound. And
Oh,
How much
yeah.
sugar do you use?
Lesson
that was a
learned.
bit of a shock.
A sugar?
They got pieces of the little balls in it, but it tastes good though. It's
Yeah.
not, it's good.
Well, the last time we used a hand mixer to sit there and mix the matcha up, so it was a lot more smoother, but
Yeah.
all right.
Well, good. So it is a success.
It's a keeper.
Yes.
Is there a way to?
Yeah,
for, like,
because
people
when you
who
read
don't
what's in
eat
the
sugar.
I'm sorry. Hold
to-
on.
So
Sorry,
like
what?
people like I don't really eat sugar. So is there? How do you account for like sugar-free ice cream or something like that?
Oh, I'm
How
glad
do
you asked. I'm so glad you asked.
Want me to answer that?
No. I want someone who knows what they're doing.
Crazy when you say that.
Oh, really?
The way to make sugar-free Italian ice, you can't make sugar-free ice cream, because dairy itself is a sugar. There are places like Breyers who make no sugar added, and they should also add no flavor added, because it's awful. It's terrible. So you need sugar in ice cream to be a real ice cream. And quite frankly, I'm not wearing it, but I'm a type 1 diabetic. I got a pump on here. And so I'm not supposed to eat any of this stuff. But everything is in moderation. But you used to have to use maltodextrin, which is a horrible chemical. It's a modified food starch, whatever that means. And it's awful. It has a really bad side effect. They make, Stouffer's makes candies, a little bag of candies that they sell at CVS, and it says sugar-free. And so I eat the whole bag, and then I'm in the bathroom for the next 2 days because of the maltodextrin. And then I go back and I go, well, why did that happen? And I read the fine print and says, consuming this product more than 2 pieces at a time may cause stomach distress. No kidding. So that's the only way you could do Italian ice until I came up with this. I found this product. It's called allulose. It's spelled A-L-L-U-L-O-S-E. And allulose works very well. It's still not sugar, but it's close to what you want. And you can buy it on Amazon. You can sometimes buy it in the supermarket. I started off, I've got about 6 recipes for allulose Italian ice that you can email me, Steve at Emery Thompson, and I'll send them to you for free. And I used for every pound of sugar, I used 1.5 pounds of allulose. It's quite expensive compared to sugar, but if you're meeting, I'll get right to you, if you're meeting a market that people want, the price isn't going to matter. I've since then taken it up to about 1.75 pounds or 1 2/3 pounds because I needed a little extra flavor. It's not perfect, but it sure beats maltodextrin. Yes, sir.
She buys that in liquid form. Could you use that in liquid form?
Oh, yeah. I haven't tried liquid form. That would be fine.
That's what I use in my
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay, so you're using it in baking.
Yeah, baking, you can put out, just for like every day, if you make a cup of tea, for people who drink coffee, you can put it.
What ratio do you use if you were to compare it to sugar, or have you not even figured that?
About, like you said, if it's a cup of sugar, like 1.5 cups of allulose. You would
Okay.
use. Yeah.
So the alluloses will meet this niche market. The other alternative is to act like someone from the Bronx and say, hey, lady, this is an ice cream parlor. If you wanted something dietetic, call Weight Watchers. But you can't always get away with that nowadays.
But coming from where we live, we're from New Orleans, and coming from where we live at, diabetes is very prevalent. And this is why she switched a lot of our stuff over to a lot of those things, because I was headed to be a diabetic. So I need stuff with some flavor.
Yeah, he likes the real stuff.
I'm more of a Jeff. I don't want the flavor.
I'm the real stuff, too.
But I don't want to get stuck with you.
I just turn wherever the pump is, I just turn it up. We cheat. And so my wife catches me eating vanilla ice cream, and I just say, oh, no, it's very good for me because it assimilates slower in the body relative to corn. And she goes, yeah, well, the key word there is relative to.
Suppose you're using things like almond milk. Can you use that in that machine instead of?
Yeah.
Is that a freeze?
But it's not going to add anything to the freezing properties. Okay. You can use it as an extract, an ingredient. The other thing I'm using a lot of is, I do have it here.
Wait, maybe it's here.
I'll give you your floor in a minute. There's a company spelled MAMIS, and it's MAMIS Gelato.com. Mommy's Gelato, it's Italian for mommy. And she has a product, it's a powder that is coconut based, and now she has one that she calls outrageous, and it's from oat. And the oat, I love it. It's in this product, the coconut, you have to like coconut because all your ice cream is going to have a coconut background. But the market is what's so fascinating. There are 72 million of Jeff's and me, baby boomers. There are 85 million with the classification of millennial. My kids never want to be called a millennial, but 22 to 39 is it's nothing more than a designator. And there are 85 million people in that age group. And they are not big fans of dairy. So we're making what they used to call vegan frozen dessert. We dressed up the name a little bit and call it dairy-free frozen dessert, or if it's an individual store, I call it dairy-free ice cream. And it's attracting people that you haven't seen in your store in a long time. Yes, you're getting the young mothers and fathers coming in with children because everybody loves ice cream. But the parents, not so much. They're not really buying into the Haagen-Dazs and all like my generation does. So this is not a fad like frozen yogurt. This is a trend. This is a true trend, and I would have you start with two of these flavors out of, say, 12. If I was doing ice cream, and maybe I would go to 4, but it is going to attract a big new market that you haven't seen in a long time. And I tell this to my old-time businesses up in New England. They've been in business 50, 60 years, and they go, Steve, listen, we're very well known in Kennebunkport. We've been here for 60 years. We got a big audience. What do I need with this fad? And I say, it's not a fad. And go outside and look at your audience. How old are they? How many are there? How many 28-year-olds do you see in line? And they go, well, I don't think I see any. I said, that's exactly the point. Our age group is going to go away like every age group does, and you need to replace it with new customers. And the new customers are not as gung-ho on dairy, but like your husband, they'll all break. They're all going to say, I need my sugar fix. And so they'll be eating Jeff's Payday within a couple of years, no problem whatsoever. But you have to adapt to the market. I always used to make very big machines. Now I make smaller ones because the market couldn't afford a very big machine to start out. You can't get a bank loan. So we're going to talk about that during the break, but we do smaller stores. They cost less money. You got to do the same thing with the products. And with that, I will shut up and turn it over to Jeff, who's going to make a really good ice cream that I'm going to eat tons of it when he's not here. The Payday. Oh, yes, I do.
No, it's not Payday. Is today Payday? No, it's Friday's Payday. I live at the beach, and what month are we in? June? From early May to October, you can't leave lights on at night. You know why?
Turtles.
The turtles. These stupid turtles will walk out of the water and get confused which way to go to lay their eggs. So if you have a light on at the beach, they're going towards the light. And the powers that be don't want you to do that. Why am I bringing this up? No clue. We're going to make turtle cheesecake. It's actually going to be called Beachside. Oh, that's why. Beachside turtles. They follow the light, you know.
And then you
Is this on?
Them and
Is this
turn them into
working?
ice cream.
Huh?
Then you catch them and turn them into ice cream.
Turtle soup.
Yeah,
Turtle soup.
lovely. Turtle killer.
Or if they're, no, we won't go there.
No.
So it's called Beachside Turtle Cheesecake. Cheesecake is a great ice cream that you can make. We're going to make a full ice cream on this. And you're going to videotape the whole thing, aren't you?
And sell it.
Oh my. It's going to be on TV soon. Anyway, see, now I lost my whole turtle of thought. You can make anything cheesecake. In the store, we've gone from cherry cheesecake to blueberry cheesecake ice cream. And I think turtle cheesecake is pretty good. It's got those two things we all like, caramel and chocolate. So the basis of it is this. It's a Jell-O no-bake cheesecake. It's the only one I found. Now, by the way, if this is, say, $4, I think it's less, but if this is $4, and right next to it is Schmello no-bake cheesecake for $1.99, you know, you can save some money, right? No. It's just like Steve and his sugar. So this is what to get, and I always keep boxes. There's another 2 boxes up there. I always keep this on hand because anytime you want to come up with something, grab a jar of Smucker's preserves, raspberry, blueberry, strawberry, anything, and get this and add it in, and you're good to go. I also thought that we've been getting a lot of requests for making a Variegating. Those stripes in the ice cream, so we'll do that with this. What I thought last night is we'll make a caramel cheesecake swirled with chocolate. Ooh, more than you bargained for. All right, the recipe for this is precisely For a 12-quart machine, we're going to use 5 quarts of mix. So 5 quarts of mix. 5 quarts of mix. 5 quarts of mix. This will work. Here's that tip, right? Instead of, right? You know the tip? Okay. I'll tell you later. 5 quarts of mix. Say when. Okay, 5 quarts of mix. And we can put this right in.
Sorry, Jeff, some turtles got stuck in.
Follow the light.
Are they following the light?
Yeah.
And you know the caveat to that, when they follow the light, they die. It's nature. See, but when the world was created, there were no lights on the beach. So the turtles knew what to do. Progress. You win some, you lose some, right? When you open the box of Jell-O no-bake cheesecake, there's 2 packages in there. One package is the cheesecake. And it's simply a white powder. Whoa, that smells just like cheesecake, coincidentally enough. We're going to start the machine and have it mix this in there. The other container, the other pouch, is the graham cracker crust. And it's all ground up. And we're adding this for the flavor of it. All right, so you got that? It's 5 quarts of mix, 1 box of Jell-O no-bake cheesecake. Get the no-bake. Otherwise, you got a big problem. And now we're going to add some caramel. I use Ghirardelli caramel. It's good. Lion's caramel is good also. But shouldn't we be concerned that this is so expensive? No, why not? Because there's so much money to be made in this stuff. Buy the best, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the difference between selling it at Yankee Stadium and having a line around the block at your store.
So we'll add this to it. I don't know how much we'll add, probably this thing, and see what it tastes like. We have more. So there you go. We'll add that. Now, the swirl. The swirl. We're going to make our own swirl. Whatever you swirl should have a relationship with the ice cream. So if you're making raspberry cheesecake, take a bunch of Smucker's raspberry preserves and use that as the base for your swirl. It'll look different because the ice cream's going to be pale. You know that 99% of homemade ice creams are beige. You know, that's just it. We don't add fake colors or anything, or even real colors. So let's see if we got all that in there. Yeah, we're good.
Anybody ever complain to you in the store? Your experience that it wasn't, the cherry wasn't bright red or something
Never.
like that?
Never.
Because they why is that? Is it,
Well, because most places use a dipping cabinet where the ice creams are laid out, and the people who walk up can see the colors. And that's why when you walk into Baskin Robbins and they have 16 different tubs there with no covers on them, and you look at them, there's bright red, there's Superman, which is yellow, blue, and red. There's all different colors. Strawberry's going to be bright red, and why don't they ask it? Oh, because they don't see them in my store.
well, they see it in the cup.
Yeah. But by then they're tasting it and it's all over.
Yeah, I don't think it's the dipping cabinet. I think it's that they've gotten so much more savvy over the years that they know that's red dye 40 in there.
You think so? I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Hey, I put organic lettuce on my Big Mac now.
Oh. How about a plant-based burger?
I've had some good ones.
Oh, stop.
I have.
All right, let's see what this tastes like.
It's like working in the 60s.
Oh gosh, that's good. All right, we can fire this up. Now we have to move quickly now, because what we're going to do is make the variegate, make the swirl. So the first thing we'll use when the ice cream gets a little stiff, we'll use that as the base so that the flavors marry, they blend. Hey Mike, is this thing working?
Not very well.
No, apparently not. Oh my. Just
ice cream.
Just another day at the office. The cheesecake ice cream is a winner. You should have one of those. It's really good. This goes, let's see. This goes here. This goes here. You'll need one thing to make the variegate the way I do it, and that's what they call in the industry a squishy bucket. That's all, a squishy bucket. We're going to use some good Hershey's chocolate and some more caramel from Ghirardelli. If you're counting, we used 17 ounces in the cheesecake part of the recipe. I guess that would compute to, if you're making raspberry cheesecake and you bought Smucker's, I guess 17 ounces would work too. But just taste it. See what you think. Could also throw... No. Now let's add a little vanilla, simply because I'm not paying for it. We put in 5 quarts of mix, right? Right? Do me a favor, wake up the person next to you. So we're going to add 5 quarts, 5 ounces. Didn't I do that in the book? I made that mistake a lot. Oh well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, but you didn't pay anything for my vanilla.
Well, you don't pay for it and I don't pay for it.
Well, that's true.
That's true. So let's use tons of it. Now, when this gets a little thick, that's when we have to really move. You'll see why. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
I can always look to him and know if I ask any questions, I'll get one. Anytime there's a void, any questions, Nadal?
Yeah, I would have thought maybe you would have used that Ghirardelli powder. That's what I would have thought.
For what?
Like for your variegate?
We can. You see it over there?
I thought that's it over there.
No, that's something else. But I can do. You want to do that? Add a little of that?
I would have thought since it's all Ghirardelli, you know.
We can do that. I happen to have some off camera. Oh, look at this. Who blocked up the whole thing here? Ghirardelli chocolate powder.
Jeff will be right back. He's caught a flight to San Francisco to pick up the Ghirardelli, and then we'll continue. Ghirardelli is an excellent name in chocolate. So is Forbes Chocolate out of Cleveland, Ohio. Chocolate is very subjective. I've said in other videos, my wife eats 85% cocoa and loves them. The bars, I think they taste like chalk, and I like M&Ms. So chocolate is extremely subjective.
Okay, Ghirardelli chocolate powder. One of the 2 secret ingredients. Okay, we'll add a little of this. See what happens. And now the ice cream should be ready for us to pull a little bit to put into here. And then we'll add a little of this.
So you're making your own Variegate?
Yes. We'll mix that up. Now, because we want it real chocolatey, turtle cheesecake, we'll add some chocolate. Just a little. The whole point of this is to get it like thick gravy, and you'll see why when we get there. Getting there. How about a little more caramel? That would be, or should we not? Should caramel? By the way, who says caramel? Who says caramel?
Caramel.
See, it's all different. Okay, see what we got? I don't have to tell you how good it's going to taste, but we don't even have to taste it. We know what's in there. Okay, that'll sit there. What? Now we'll check on this. Oh, we're almost there. Now, when you're making the Variegate, you want it to get a little stiffer than I would normally pull it. And that's because when you add this to that, you want stripes. You don't want it to just dissolve into soft ice cream. I'll keep these on the ready in case we need some more stuff. See, I'd be ready to pull it now. Yes, sir.
That you're looking for, the consistency that you're looking for.
I like to pull the ice, when to pull it?
Yeah.
Okay, the question is, how do you know when to pull the ice cream? We differ, and there's no right and wrong, except this way's right. And the answer is, Steve likes to pull it when it breaks here. Like, see that clean break? I like to pull it when after it's in the bucket, it holds a peak. You know, instead of going down. When it holds a peak, that's when I like it. You'll pick somewhere in between. I believe that you can overdo it and underdo it, right?
Yeah, I normally pull stiffer than you do.
Yes.
But on this product, you want a stiff product, so like you said, so it doesn't all blend in together. So this one negates both of us.
Right. This will be stiffer than normal.
Yeah.
Probably close to what you pull it at.
Yeah, or a little more.
Or a little more. Oh, this is going to be fun. Will you taste this?
Is there alcohol in it?
No.
Then I'll taste it.
Okay. All right. So you tell me how we're doing if we want this nice and stiff.
Go for it.
Almost, right? Count down a minute. Now. You're on that? Okay. You got it? How'd you do that so fast? That fancy watch? Ah, what kind of watch is that?
Enough said.
Citizen. How we doing?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds, and then the whole magic will begin. Would you get her to get the cups ready so that, or you can get them ready?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah. You mean Christi? Her. That
Yes.
girl.
There's no other her that's working today. Huh? I think I'm going to go with his watch.
5.
Okay, so first we're going to shut the refrigeration. Just a habit, but I always listen for the compressor to stop. I don't, you hear that? Micah, you got to boost the volume here. Nobody's listening. So then we're going to pull it. Beige.
Okay.
All right.
It's sticking all together.
Okay, we are ready to roll. So what we have in the squishy bucket is just nice beige white ice cream. So now we have this, could have been a little thicker, but we're okay. And what we're going to do is pour a little on top. And then we're going to give it 4 folds. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll use this one so you can see. And then the squishy bucket comes into play now. So you squeeze the squishy bucket, and what you should get is nice stripes in the ice cream. Pretty simple. And then we serve it up. And it's nice looking. But it also gives it a little separation of flavors. So now there's some left, so we're going to add some more. And do the same thing. A couple of spins. Mike, they're in awe.
I think they fell asleep.
Yeah, I think so. So there's more of the variegate.
Put that on the side for me. I'm taking it home.
You got it. You got something to put it in? Can't take these.
For the kids.
Put it in.
By the way, everybody from the class yesterday made all those cups of ice cream. Nobody took them.
Are they still in there?
Of course, but they won't be for long.
No, I left them in there so they would get hard so they wouldn't melt by the time we got
Oh, that's a good excuse. When did you think of that?
yesterday.
All right, let's see how this is. And this way you can get that in a spoonful.
The hardest part about doing any of this
You're going to freak out.
not licking your fingers.
We're not watching.
I know, right? It's a struggle. It's a mind game. You get it on you, oh well.
Okay. This I think you're going to like. Plain as simple as that.
Definitely get one with all that.
Jeff, what is the squishy bucket called?
Squishy bucket.
What is it
Squishy
called?
bucket?
Squishy bucket.
I just call it a squishy bucket.
What kind of bucket do we look for?
I think I got enough.
Alas, here comes the bad news.
The white ones work too. The white ones work.
Yeah, those work good also. Not as good as this, but they'll be fine. These here, you took the class, right? And now you use these, right? And where do you get them?
I forget where I got them. Forget where I got them.
One place to get them is called plasticcontainercity.com. And this will work. See, this squishes. That's what happens. But it doesn't matter. You know, they'll break it on the top there.
Plasticcontainers.com.
I got it here if you want, Christy. Oh, I thought he didn't get any. Did he get any?
Steve?
No, Mike.
Oh, not yet.
Here, you can give him. Oh, you have it over there? Okay.
Yeah. What
So, what do you think?
I
Is
have
it?
not.
Calling the dog a turtle.
Wait, give him one of
You
those.
missed it. You weren't here. You said the turtles are attracted to light.
Oh, it's okay. I'll get it from her. Mom.
Drop it.
And when your friends come in and you serve this, you can do a little of that. But this is for Mike. Ah, baby. So, comments about it? Is it any good or what?
It's really good, but I had a question.
Go ahead.
Say you're making this at your store. After you just make this, where is it going? Are you putting it in a blast freezer? Or are you putting this in a...
Oh, boy. Huh? Oh, boy. Where do I put it? In a chest freezer. I don't use blast freezers.
Okay.
I don't believe in them.
At negative 10 degrees?
No, just what it normally is. What do they normally run at? Huh? Zero. They run at zero.
And
That's
how
all.
good is it? How long will it last?
How long will it last?
Yeah.
Till you sell it out, which should be about 3 days.
Okay. If you were
What?
to
You done?
Yeah.
if you were to put it at negative 10 degrees, because if we're thinking about mass quantity and we're shipping this out to different locations, I would ideally want it to last for up to 2 to 3 weeks. So at what degree should this be?
It's not in my wheelhouse. I make it and sell it quickly enough that that's not a concern. It never has been. I don't do any wholesale. So you have to ask Steve. He'll probably, Steve, come over here.
Yes.
Please. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's save this for Q&A because he has something to say about the blast freezers.
Yeah.
This gentleman wondered if we put it in a freezer and he's not going to sell it for a while because he has multiple locations and has to freeze it and ship it. What temperature should he do it at? Don't answer yet.
Okay. All right.
So we'll go over this during the Q&A. It's a good thing.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
we'll
the
get
ice
some
cream's
chairs.
good. You didn't taste it.
I only get a spoon. We'll get some chairs and we'll sit down and see if we can wake everybody up.
My niece, she bakes, and that's one of the big things
all you
she
get.
does is cheesecakes.
Okay.
And and I told her, I said, man, if you just throw bits and pieces in there when it's coming out, oh man.
Oh, it doesn't get any better.
That's good.
Oh, that's great.
That's good. Always a winner, by the way, cheesecake.
Yeah.
Pretty universal. No matter where you are, people like cheesecake. Yes, sir.
It's good. It's really good. Some texture, nuts, some crunch.
What?
It's good. This is really good.
And don't forget, it's the no bake.
Yeah.
If you get the baked one, it's going to be completely different.
Yes, it doesn't
It's like
work.
flour.
Yeah, it doesn't. Right. It tastes like flour. That's right.
So smooth.
Okay, get some chairs in here, and we'll get this rolling. I'll clean up.
Okay.
Okay, all yours.
We call this little segment questions answered. So now is your chance to ask questions. I'm going to start off. Yeah, well, we have a question already, and then I'll go into something I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Hardening of the ice cream. The question that we're gonna get to. Once we make the ice cream here, where should it go directly? How should it be hardened? What's the process? At what temperature? And how long is it gonna last? Trying to ideally get ice cream to last for even up to a month. What temperature should it be stored at?
Okay. What I'm going to do first is have Christi, and I'll chime in too, and Jeff, talk about the size of the machine that you're going to buy for your business, because that is what the answer to your hardening questions is. Christi, you want to start out about what size, depending on economy, their money and their need?
Well, the CB-350 is always the best start, if you're just getting into the business. Steve can chime in anytime, but it's a countertop, and just one of those chest freezers that size is just fine. Steve has always said before, if you're storing something for a month, obviously it's not doing well, don't sell it, or don't make it. It's not worth to keep it for a month, and if you're making ice cream that is a big popular seller, to keep in the freezer for a month, not a good idea either.
Go ahead.
Well, let me comment. His situation is a little different. He's not buying it, putting it in, and waiting for customers to buy it for a month. What he's doing is he's distributing to his other locations, so he has to pretty much stockpile each of the flavors.
Okay, so
now I would say that a CB-350 is a great machine, but eventually, understand this, as sure as the sun comes up, eventually you're all going to have a 24-quart machine. There's no question. If you can afford it from the get-go, just get it. But don't go into debt to get it. If it's a choice between going into debt for a 24 and starting your business on a 6, then get the 6. I'm not a debt kind of guy, and you shouldn't be either. Getting the smaller machine will help in 2 ways. It'll keep your initial out-of-pocket costs down, but more importantly, you're going to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, or as many hours, not hard. And that will give you great experience, so that by the time you're ready, it took me 9 months to get to go to the 24. But I had 9 months of many hours a day working that CB-350 to get good at my craft. And I did. So that when I transitioned to a 24, see, he agrees. When I transitioned to the 24, it was easy. And it was like a gift, because now I'm working 3/4 less time. But your situation is a little different, because you're going to buy them to store them, specifically to store them. I'm still not a believer in batch freezers, but Steve is, and he'll tell you.
You mean flash hardening cabinet?
Yeah, hardening, right.
Not batch
I'm
freezers.
sorry.
That's what I
Hardening
built.
cabinets. So tell him, if he's going to be making production to last a month while he distributes and has inventory on hand, what should he do?
The underlying answer to your question starts off with what size machine you're going to get. Before Jeff and I started doing this back in about 2008, 2007, somewhere around there, long time, it moves fast. And 429 videos ago, Plus, we did live TV.
Live. It
We
was
did
always live.
It was live for a long time.
This here was live. No editing, went right
On
out.
the World Wide Web.
Yeah, right out.
Before Jeff came along, the average store I was putting up was $150,000. Sometimes we would scrimp and do $100,000. That has changed completely nowadays. I mean, I can't imagine spending $100,000, even if you had it. What changed? Banks stopped loaning money. Banks, if you've noticed, only give money to people who don't really need it.
Sure things.
You cannot, absolutely sure things. And so the average one of us, any one of us in this room, would have a hard time getting a loan. Even me running a corporation, they would give us a hard time getting a loan for $100,000. You know, they want just your soul in order to get that. So that's out of the question. Putting it on credit cards is the worst thing you could possibly do because you'll never get out of debt. The interest rates are 22%, and it's geared for you. Oh, sure, just put it on your card and pay $114 a month for the next 30 years. So that's not a viable way to do it. So here comes Jeff along with his something like 78 square foot store. About that, right?
80 square feet.
80 square feet. You know what 80 square feet is? I think it's from here to the door, if that much.
Not that big.
It's not that
4,
big.
6, 8, 10.
And he ended up with around 3,500 square feet when he left. But it took time to get there. With the CB-350, we are putting additional thousands of people into business that weren't there before because they had to buy a 24 or a 44. It was the only thing available to them. So right there, you're talking almost $30,000 as opposed to about 12 and a half or a little less. So it's all about the cost of the store and getting into business. Jeff and I believe, and Christi is also has been finding this out too, talking to our customers. The best thing you do is just to say, like Nike, just do it. Just get into business. That is so critical because if you just get into business instead of saying, well, I'm going to experiment for the next year on my flavors, that's a whole year that you didn't make $300,000 because you are going to make that much money. The ice cream business has never been as bold and big as it is right now. We normally are building about 38 machines a month. We have 129 orders as of this morning, and by the time Christi and I get back to the phones, it'll be at about 136 of machines to build. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And a huge amount of them are the CB-350s. So what does the CB-350 make? It makes 1/4 as much as the 24 quart. So like Jeff said, you can bang out a lot more ice cream if you have a 24. But it's a non-starter if you can't afford $30,000. If you can afford, it's currently 12.3. By the time people see this video, 2 years from now, it'll be a little higher. It's a non-starter to buy that. You get into business, and I have converted over temporarily to Jeff's way of hardening the ice cream in a couple of chest freezers, which are fatally flawed because they're $700 each as opposed to $7,000 for a hardening cabinet. So again, and instead of 36 flavors and Italian dipping cabinets that are $25,000 and they're absolutely gorgeous, I got these little things in the back. I don't think the camera can see it, but it's the old floppy door cabinet where you don't see the ice cream. It just flops over on itself. And when you serve a scoop of ice cream, you turn your back on the customer and you scoop the ice cream. That's the way we do it. And now, what has happened, the CB-350 came out in 2008, I believe, September of 2008. And all those people have had those machines for 10, 12, 13 years. And over that 13 years, their businesses, some of them, wait 2 months to order a machine. Some go 5 years before they go to a bigger one. But they, like Jeff said, they do go to a bigger machine. But it took time and it took money to get there. And you wake up one day and you say, I'm running the CB-350 18 hours a day. I don't even see my family. There's no such thing as a vacation. If I get a 24, I cut it by 4. Now I'm down to a very small number of hours. So when that time comes, you'll have the money to do it, and your business will expand. So how are we going to harden the ice cream? You want to put it into multiple stores and ship it. The hardening, the chest freezers are designed for you to buy DiGiorno pizzas, frozen green beans, bring them home from the supermarket, and throw them into the freezer already frozen. The thing doesn't have to do any work. It has worked successfully for Jeff because he has 3,500 square feet and 11 chest freezers, 11 of them. The average store is going to now be under 1,000 square feet, maybe 700, 800, 900. They're not going to have the room for that. And a chest freezer is 5.5, almost 6 feet long, horizontal. You're never going to get more than 1 or 2 of those in your freezer. And the best you can do to harden the ice cream to the point where you can even think about shipping it is to make 1/3 of the capacity of the box. If this is the box, I can fill up this side today, and then I have to stop. Otherwise, the temperature, if I try to fill up this side at the same time with more ice cream, the whole temperature is going up to 40, and everything melts, because it was designed to hold ice cream, not freeze it. We're going to force it to freeze the ice cream to 10 below, because we're only filling it third way. And then you go to your second freezer and you fill it up a third way. Tomorrow you come back and you fill another. When you have no money and you have the drive to get into business, it's going to work beautifully. You're going to be a huge success, but in a very short order, and I must have 5 or 10,000 CB-350s out there who have hit the point where they don't have the space, 2 cabinets isn't cutting it, they are opening a second store, and they're saying, where am I going to go to get a bona fide hardening cabinet? A bona fide true hardening cabinet, sometimes called a flash freezer, it's got a couple of names, isn't just something that goes to 30 below zero. It's something that, instead of talking about ice cream, let's say Christi makes 10 gallons of beef barley soup, and it's 70 degrees now that it's all cooked. And she wants to freeze it down, and she puts it in that freezer. That freezer, because of that huge number of gallons, is going to skyrocket. 48 degrees up, it isn't going to freeze for days on end. I got a call. What started all this, part of the conversation, was a lady said, I've had your machine now for 5 years. I've got 4 chest freezers, and my ice cream, there must be something wrong with my Emery Thompson. The ice cream is very grainy. It's very icy. What's gone wrong? So Christi looked up her records, found out that she had bought new blades after 6 years. She bought new springs. The machine's in perfect working order. Her volume went up so high that now she's filling each box completely full and then going to another one, and it goes up to 40. It all melts, and then it goes down to 10 below in about 15 hours, and it's all just icy junk. So to do multiple stores like you want to do and to hold the ice cream, you need a hardening cabinet, not just something made by True that says, oh, we go to 30 below. They go to 30 below until you put that soup in there, and then it goes back up to 40. You need something that pulls the heat out of the ice cream. And right now, there is only one on the market, and that is Kelvinator. I am looking into, with another company, changing that and coming out with a reasonably priced hardening cabinet sometime, hopefully by the National Ice Cream Retailers Association show in November. Hope to show it there, and it'll be affordable, and it's going to allow these people who, I'm still going to say to you here in the audience, I've got $30,000 and I want to get into the ice cream business, fine. CB-350 or CB-200 and 2 chest freezers. That's the way we're going to get you into business. But then when you open that second store, when restaurants start asking for your product, and the corner store that sells cheese and wine wants your pints of ice cream, you're going to have to go to a hardening cabinet. But just like you don't have the money for the hardening cabinet now, in a couple of years of running one of these machines, you're going to have plenty of money. It'll be a no-brainer to say, Steve, send me a hardening cabinet. So that's where we're going. It's unavoidable unless you have 3,500 square feet and 11 chest freezers. Now, Jeff's new business has 3,800 square feet, and he can buy all the chest freezers he wants and continue doing it his way. but most of us will never be able to afford the rent on 3,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet. 1,500 is going to be difficult. And yes, sir.
What about the difference between a walk-in and a blast freezer?
Good question. The difference between a walk-in and a blast freezer. The chest freezer, what's so nice
I'm going to go
about
hang myself in the bathroom for a minute.
The chest freezer, you open the door and cold air is heavier than warm air. It all falls, it all stays there. That's really nice. You can practically leave that door open all day long on your chest freezer and you're not going to lose a lot of cold because cold air falls. I wouldn't do it, but you can. When you buy a vertical hardening cabinet with powerful blowers, very powerful compressors, goes down to 30 below and stays there, every time you open the doors, you're losing all the cold. And you close, and you're sitting there staring, and you're going, where did I put the mint chip? I'm going to try to solve that on the hardening cabinet I'm coming up with. Is we're going to have an ability for you to know where everything is. It's going to be very simple too. So you're losing all the cold, and it's got to recover fast. So it's got to have bigger compressors. I can do the same job of 30 below. I can do it in a walk-in. If the control room back there is a walk-in, that can be 15 below. Because I'm walking in carrying 2 tubs of ice cream, I'm closing the door behind me. My tubs of ice cream in the hardening cabinet and in the upright are packed, one here, one here, one here, very tight together. In the walk-in, I've got lots of room. I've got rack storage, like you've seen in our video, and I've got a tub here and one here. I've got air circulation. It's not all going out the door. I'm walking around in there looking for my mint chip. So minus 15 will do just great, even maybe minus 10. And sometimes you can find a restaurant that's gone out of business. These walk-in freezers are prefab. They're 4x8 panels. You buy it, you snap it together, and you take the existing condensing unit and add a second one just to get down to that temperature. Yes?
So we make the ice cream here, stick it in a walk-in freezer, because that's what I'm planning to do, at negative 15 degrees. How long is the ice cream good for?
You could keep it for probably 5 months.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but
it's gonna.
Christi, tell them why you don't want to keep it for 5 months.
It's the wrong flavor.
If you're keeping it for that long, it's not worth even making anymore.
Right. So
I wouldn't make that far ahead either.
When I see like big chains, like for example, After's Ice Cream in California.
That's one of mine.
I know. So they have 30 locations, and they have one manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of trucking. But their production center only works 2 days out of the week. So they have, I don't know how many weeks of stock that they're, inventory that they're transporting to all these stores. But when I went and tasted that ice cream, it tasted like it was just made. It did not taste like it was, stored for 2 months.
Well, if they have 30 locations and if they're only pumping 2 days a week and then they're running for those 2 straight days, then depending on how many machines they have in there, then that's feasible. They're probably not stockpiling it for 5 months at a time.
Yeah, I doubt that they are very much. I'll bet you they're running out. What they made on Monday is gone on Friday.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Some people have 15 of those 40 quarts. It's not in here. The Beast, the 11-gallon one, they'll have 15 of them lined up on a wall.
If they have that much, then yeah, I can see how.
It doesn't matter what fruit you're dealing with. The fresher it is, the better it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep that in mind. Can you eat a 3-month-old ice cream? Sure you can, but would I want to? Not really.
Right.
Now, for you understand that this is a unique situation. Most of the people that take my class and that come to this class, they're looking to get into let's call it a mom and pop operation. They're not looking to open 6 stores right away. So my philosophy has always been keep it simple, do it cheap. And that's, I still subscribe to that. I would rather see, well, you took the class and you opened up, right? Yep. And it didn't cost you $1 zillion because there's no need to spend that kind of money. And to open up with a CB-350 and some chest freezers and then grow from there, that's the way to do it. And it's cheap. There's not a person in the United States, in the world, that I can't put into business for $20,000.
And I agree, except my number's a little higher.
Well,
It just-
12,000 is the machine.
It just drives me nutty when I hear people say that they've hired an architect or a food consultant.
Right,
Food,
or they want,
quote unquote.
right, and they want granite countertops, and they want fancy lighting, and they want a checkerboard tile floor. It's
Oh, and they've got their T-shirts and their hats, and then they call and go, "I want a machine."
Yeah.
The key
You're opening
is,
next week?
it's
Sorry.
very simple. You want to make the best product you can, which we can do, which you've seen being done already. And certainly the people in my class, they now can make the best ice cream in the world. That's something, to open a store knowing in your heart that you make the best ice cream in the world. And if there's 7.5 billion people on the earth, how many people like ice cream? Hello?
7.5 billion.
Every one of them. Every one of them. So you're opening a store. Don't worry about granite and fancy signage and all that. You're opening a store that has a product that every single person who drives by or walks by or calls you up wants. They all want it. They all want great ice cream. And even if there's a place next door or down the street that has ice cream, it's not what you make. You make the world's best ice cream.
I'll tell you what people want in a store, because I've thought about it. What if I had, you know, like you see on TV, what if I had prep tables with cameras looking down and TVs behind me? Would it really make my presentation better? I don't think so. I don't think it would improve on it. If I was doing a store, I'm going to do it exactly like Jeff. I agree with him 100%. Get in for as little money as possible. But I also want to look at one other thing, and that is get them in and get them out fast. Because Americans don't like to sit and wait for anything. And if I see a long line and I have to wait an hour and a half, I may do it once. That was the demise right from day one of Thai pan ice cream, where you had a refrigerated plate and you're moving it around like this and serving. 6 minutes to make one serving. 10 people. 10 people is no line at all. That's an hour wait. The nitrogen, that's 6.5 minutes. 20 people times 6.5 minutes. You'll do it once as a novelty and never come back. You want a store where you can move the traffic without them feel like they're being moved. So if you have to spend a little bit on whatever it takes to motivate that, you know, particular thing, that's what you want to do. But, you know, Nike has it right. Just do it. Just get into business and you won't believe the amount of money that you're going to make. And the location doesn't have to be, 20 years ago, if I was talking to you, the location would have had to have been the best, richest town in the United States of America, on Main Street, on the corner. Nowadays, we all do it. Paula and I are doing it. You know, hey, let's go out to dinner tonight. Well, you know, do we pick the Ritz-Carlton? No. We say, oh, look, our friend told us about this little bistro that only has 20 seats and it's down an alleyway. We'll go out of our way to get, you know, good food from a little place like that. The people will find you. They will find your store. You don't need to have, it's always good, but you don't have to have the walk-by traffic. You have a location that is easily accessible, it's safe, and they'll come.
And signage. Like you said on the floors, nobody's going to come back to your store because they remembered how pretty your floors were.
That's right.
They're going to come back for your ice cream.
Who else has questions?
Well, or go ahead. Sorry.
Question. The ingredients you put in, like the 3-quart or 6-quart, it doesn't equal the 6-quart. How do you figure out the expansion so it's not like
Overrun?
Yeah, so you can't put in, that's your finished product. The 6 quarts is your finished. So if you put in like 4 quarts of mix, you're going to get out a little more than, we say 6 quarts, but you get more than that. If you were to run, that's at homemade, that's 100% overrun. If you were to make super premium or gelato, you're not going to get that full finished product out because you're putting less air. It's the air content.
And it also depends on the inclusions, what else you're putting in the machine. If you want to make vanilla ice cream and all you're adding is the mix, then yes, homemade will get you 100% overrun and that's the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're adding cheesecakes and chocolates and preserves and peaches and all that, you have to take that into consideration.
Except for like water ice or Italian ice, that has like no expansion. It's just sugar water. So whatever you put in, you're pretty much practically getting back out.
Okay.
Like the orange and cranberry, you're putting in just the orange juice, cranberry juice, and sugar. So we put in 4 quarts, you're going to get about 4.5 out. It only has about 17% expansion.
Okay. And then the ice cream, what's the expansion on that?
It depends on what you're making. So how I describe it to when I'm talking to people on the phone, I'm a visual person. So you know when you take egg whites and you take a whisk and you whisk it really, really, really fast, you're getting a meringue. It's fluffy. That's the same concept. You're making homemade ice cream. It's going really fast, pumping a lot of air into it, so it's making your ice cream expand. If you were to make butter, which is just cream and salt, and you sit there for a long time and you're churning it, you're getting a thick product. Butter, right? The same process. So the slower the machine goes, the less air it's putting into making a thicker ice cream. If that helps. I'm a visual person.
Just to maybe clarify it a little bit, if you're making junky vanilla ice cream, just your basic mix in the machine, and you put 5 quarts in there, and it's 100% overrun, how much would you get out? Anybody? Wow.
I know.
I know.
I think
double.
10 quarts.
Very good.
Double.
It's 100% overrun. So if you're just putting in the mix with no inclusions, nothing else, then you'll double it. So you put in 5 quarts in this machine right here, you get out 10 quarts. I use a 24 quart machine. If I put in 10 quarts, which is my normal run, and without inclusions, I'll get back 20 quarts, which is how many gallons? 5 gallons. Now, normally on a 24 with my inclusions, whatever, and inclusions mean anything, chocolate chips, caramel, cheesecake, whatever, I count on 6 gallons coming out of my 24. Sometimes I get a little lucky, I get 7. I mean, luck has nothing to do with it, but I count on making a batch of ice cream and getting 6 gallons. So if I make a double batch, I know I've got 12 gallons, goes in my chest freezer, I'm good for the week on that flavor. And I'll make between 60 and 80 gallons at a run. Like if I go in to make ice cream at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll know that I'm going to make 60 to 80 gallons. I've done as much as 110 gallons in one sitting or one session. But now the smaller machine, yeah, you're going to work harder. Not harder, sorry, I keep doing that. You're going to work longer. This isn't hard work. Just remember that it's not prudent to make ice cream while your store is open. Very bad idea because you're going to lose focus. Did I add the sugar or not? I forget. I forgot to put the chocolate in there, and then you dump it. Then you got your gallons, you dump it out because no good. So focus is key. That's why I go in off hours. Now, when you have your own store, you can finish watching Johnny Carson. Oh, look at me dating myself. You can. What's the new guy? What's his name?
I don't know. They've all been thrown off.
Who?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon. You can watch Jimmy Fallon, and then 12:30, go make ice cream at your store. It's your store. Do whatever you want. Close the door. Put your music on. Dance. Do whatever you want. The phone's not going to ring. People aren't coming in. It's your store. And I've done that. 1 o'clock, I said, I'm not tired. Might as well do it now and save me tomorrow. So just know that you can't do it when your store is open.
One thing people get hung up on a lot is the overrun and the fat content. One thing about overrun, you can translate it, or a better way to understand it is, we all understand proof and alcohol. If you've got an 80 proof rum, it's 40% alcohol. That's what proof means. It's 40% alcohol and 40% other inert stuff. So if we take ice cream and say it's 80 proof, it's 40% dairy and 40% air. So that makes it a little easier to figure that out.
That's at homemade though.
That would be, yes.
Homemade setting.
If you go to the store and you buy a pint of Haagen-Dazs, and then you buy a pint of Breyers, you'll know the difference.
And a pint of Talenti is a gelato. If you've ever had the Talenti, that's gelato.
But they all have their place. The Breyers, well, the Breyers is a hard example because it's a crummy ice cream.
Used to be good.
Just because Jeff's running 100% Overrun, and you would think, oh well, that's maximum amount of air allowed by law. It must not be a good ice cream. And Jeff's only running 10% fat, which is the federal minimum to call it ice cream. This ice cream's got 2 strikes against it, but it doesn't, because think about it. You eat the entire package, you eat the taste of it, the flavor. Everything is about the flavor. I have yet to see anybody, and I've repeated this before, so don't shoot me. Nobody ever walks out of an ice cream parlor and says, that is the best damn fat content I've ever eaten. Or I can't wait to come back tomorrow because the air content was so good. It was the appropriate amount of air and fat for what Jeff was trying to achieve in a good eating ice cream.
The turtle cheesecake was good and thick and creamy and rich, right? And that's 10% fat, 100% Overrun.
Yeah, and I worked with putting Haagen-Dazs into business back in 1971. And Reuben Mattis and his mother were just down the street in the Bronx, and they were trying to make the perfect ice cream to sell in pints. They didn't have a store, they were selling pints. And so they wanted a heavier ice cream, so because they knew with a heavy ice cream, you'd take a spoonful when you first brought it home, you'd have a small portion after dinner, and if you're like me, another spoonful at 11 o'clock at night before you go to bed. You pick at Haagen-Dazs. If you sat down and ate the whole pint, which you can do, you're going to feel pretty darn full. You're sure not going to eat dinner. So they were targeting a specific market for that. Jeff's Ice Cream Parlor wants to give you a nice big portion and leave you feeling so refreshed from it that you say, I'm going back in and get another one. That to me is the perfect ice cream. So don't get hung up on fat content. And fat content, we base it on what's the norm in your area. In New York City, it's got to be 16% butterfat, which I think is too high.
The more north you go, the higher
it goes.
The butterfat.
Because the weather gets colder. So don't take just everything you hear as norms. What you have to figure out is, what is the best product for what you're trying to sell. Jeff is selling 100% correct. He's selling flavor. He's not selling fat, he's not selling air, he's selling flavor. When you eat his ice cream, if Jeff gives you a pale pink ice cream and you taste it, you don't say, oh wow, that's really good. Is that raspberry or strawberry? You know it's raspberry, or you know it's strawberry because he put enough in. That's what the key to ice cream is. And my machines are the only ones in the world where you can adjust the air content. And I'm telling you, that's fine and well because it'll let you tailor, there's that word, they don't make batch freezers. You can specify what you want using my machine, but for the most part, you're going to make a good eating ice cream. That's the goal here. Yes?
So this is an air-cooled. What does the water-cooled look like?
Looks just like that.
That one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's water-cooled?
This is the countertops are air-cooled. The big ones come water or air. That's the way we cool the engine or the compressor. We either blow air across it, and it's going to take this room up 10 degrees in a short amount of time, or we run water through it only while the star refrigeration switch is on. Once that switch goes off, the water goes off.
Yeah.
So
just think of like your washing machine. You have your washing machine hooked up all the time, but it doesn't use water until you wash a load of clothes. The same concept with these. When the larger the machines they get, the water cooled is much more efficient for yourself as well because it gets producing quite a bit of heat into the building. And a lot of people sometimes just automatically think air cooled. Well, I like to always push for water cooled for the fact that everyone says, oh, I don't have the water lines, I don't have the plumbing. You don't need plumbing. It's one water line in and one water line out. That is it. We provide the hoses for you, but if you needed them longer, you can go pick them up at the hardware store and make them longer. Countertops, they don't produce as much heat, so it's fine to stick with air cooled.
For the 24 quart, how many gallons of water would it run through, say, an 8-hour run?
Well, that just depends, and it has a regulating valve on it, so it maintains it. It changes to maintain the discharge water temp. So it can, at open wide, 2 gallons per minute, but that's just depending on how much you're doing if you ran it for 8 hours straight.
Yeah, and it's not a fair question.
No.
because Christi just said, I mean, the analogy of the washing machine is great. I hadn't heard that. Christi just explained it. It's not running for 8 hours. I get this from health inspectors. I want to tear my hair out. How many times do I have to tell the health inspector? It's running for 8 minutes. Now, in 8 minutes, it's actually going to run, on average, 4 gallons of water. So you can't say per hour, because you happen to be a very slow, lazy ice cream maker. You make one batch in 8 minutes, and then it takes you 15 minutes before you get to batch number 2. I didn't use 30 gallons of water in that 15 minutes because the switch wasn't on. So there is no gallons per hour. It's how many batches you're going to do. People complain about, oh, my water bill is so high. Everybody's bill is so high, but it really isn't. Your water bill comes in separately once a month. Whoa, $97 for water. If that was an air-cooled machine, it would be air conditioning cost, it would be electrical cost, and it would be the middle of July, and you'd say, whoa, look at my electric bill, it's $1,200. But what do I expect? I'm an ice cream parlor, I'm running a lot of equipment. It's buried in there, so people don't see it, but the water bill sticks out at you, and you're always going to be better off with water cooled, because you're going to need, imagine taking this room in Florida and up it to 80 degrees. You're going to pay for that. Also, the water-cooled machine costs $1,000 less to buy than the air because it has fewer moving parts, so we cut you a break. Everybody else goes, air, water, we don't care, here's the price. We actually give you a discount on the water-cooled, fewer moving parts. But unless you're in Saudi Arabia or on a septic tank, which you don't want to fill up with clean water,
San Francisco,
you don't need air-cooled. I wouldn't do it. Air-cooled can always be converted over by using an air conditioning unit outside. It's called a glycol recovery system, and it pumps cold antifreeze into the machine and back out again. $10,000 to run 4 machines. You can do that.
But that's
air-cooled is air-cooled for life. For the next 40 years, that thing is grinding out hot air. And you're going to say, why didn't I listen to Steve and Christi?
Are you awake, Jeff? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that flap up there.
Are you ready for lunch? Do you need food?
I'm ready.
I have to
Okay.
go get all that ready, so keep yakking.
I'll come help.
So, again, I didn't, if I understood you right, you said that all the countertop ones are all air, so
Yes, they are.
350 can't be water?
They don't come water.
Okay, that's it. So
The
it's just
compressors
the
aren't so
boys.
big. The compressors aren't so big that they need to be water cooled.
So just 24, 44, that's it.
12, 24, and 44, yeah. All water cooled.
Will you ever make a machine bigger than the 44 quart?
We did. Back in the 1930s, we made 80. You needed a block and tackle. You know what that is? That's a hand crane where you attach it and you pull a series of pulleys, and then you slide the dasher in. That's the only way you could get the dasher in because it weighed so much. There was a brand of ice cream back then called Seal Test, and they had 50 of those in a row. And they had overhead tracks with a crane to lift there's pictures of it in the hall of my uncle lying inside the freezing cylinder of one of those babies.
Now, I have a friend in South Florida.
Paula,
who
where's
has,
the ice?
He runs a cream ice business, a very small store. Maybe it's 700 square feet. And he has 2 Emery 44s in the back that he runs almost constantly.
That means he's probably making about $1,000 or $2,000 a day easily.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And it's only cream ice. Interesting.
Anybody else? Well, we'll break for lunch.
So what do we do for cleaning on the product you use for sterilizing the machine?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
What do you do for sterilizing
Sanitation
of the machine?
At the beginning of the day, I buy a commercial sanitizer. This is my wife, Paula, if you haven't met her, and our office manager. I buy a commercial sterilizer and put it in water according to the directions, pour it in the machine, run it for about a minute or whatever your health department says. I know that the very second that water hits the metal parts, everything's sanitized. So run it for a minute, make everybody happy. Drain it out, and you're ready to go. And that's it. As long as you don't open up that door and put your hands inside, you don't have to re-sanitize. You don't have to re-sanitize between batches because you didn't break the sterility of the machine by just taking out the vanilla and then going to strawberry. So really simple because everything is so big. Soft ice cream machines, if you've ever heard people talk about, oh, I hate an ice cream machine, it takes an hour to clean. That's a soft serve machine. They have so many moving parts, they're so complex. That's why almost all the McDonald's machines are down at 10 at night, is because nobody can keep them running. It's an embarrassment to them. So that part's real easy. All right, let's eat. We're back. And Jeff, what are you making now?
All the you need in your store, you're going to need a candy or cookie ice cream for the little brats, the kids that come to your store. So you can make these all the same way, whether it's Snickers, Baby Ruth, Clark bars, Milky Ways, anything. So this is how I make them. Last night we cut up, what do you call it?
Paydays.
Paydays. That's what you call it. We cut up Paydays into little bite-sized pieces. Payday. Has anybody not had a Payday candy bar? You haven't. I didn't ask whether you like it or not. Huh? Have you had one?
No.
Okay. That's the answer to the question. All right. So this has an amazing 2 ingredients in it. Where's the bladders? We're out of bladders?
No, I'll get you a bladder.
We'll use some vanilla, but secret. The mix that we use, the ice cream mix, from this particular supplier, which is called Dairy Mix in Sarasota, comes with some vanilla in the mix. So you don't technically have to add it, but hey, it's free. So we'll go ahead and add it.
Jeff, we should ask our supplier if they have vanilla or most do.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Use that vanilla that I told you about, and it won't matter. It's good price, easy, very good. All right, so the ingredients are, this is Payday ice cream, same thing for Snickers, same thing for M&M's, same thing for all of them. In a 24-quart machine, it's 10 quarts of mix, which is coincidentally 1 full bladder. That's why I based all my recipes on the 24, which is what I've always owned, 1 bladder. 1 bladder makes the whole batch. Crushed Paydays, 1.5 quarts. Now, we're probably going to have to go short. I don't think we're going to get 1.5 quarts out of this. This is 2 quarts of the pieces. So this will, we'll see. We'll adjust it as we go.
This is all we got.
What?
That's it.
What?
You went through everything.
I demand a recount.
We can do that.
Okay,
Check
so
back with us in 2 years.
what are you making next? You need anything?
No,
okay.
I don't.
All right, so because we didn't figure the right amount of bladders, we'll just mix these. So it'll be chocolate and vanilla Payday. It's okay. And I would do the same thing in my store. But of course, I wouldn't run out of bladders in my store.
I'm just a soldier. I took directions on the phone from Jeff Markow, whoever he
I'm just a
is.
soldier. I like it.
I see nothing.
So we need 5 quarts of mix, right?
Okay.
Right.
How about 3?
No, we'll get
And a
5.
half batch.
We'll get 5. We'll get 5.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go call my union rep.
So 5. We'll start with, we'll use as much of this as we got. Hello.
Gotta learn another.
Okay, we got 2, 2.5. Of course, we could
Half.
make it in the smaller machine.
Yeah.
Hello? Even he didn't think of that. So should we do that? Make it in the smaller machine? Let's see if it's cleaned out. Okay, not bad. All right, we'll do that. We'll make it in that. So now we adjust everything. We don't need 5 ounces of vanilla. And here's the magic. Is that 2.5 quarts? Okay. So here's the magic of this. This is a Ninja. Everybody knows by now, right? Ninjas. And because these are bite-sized pieces and they're frozen solid, come on. Wrong way. Wrong way. All right. You can still hear a couple of pieces in there. Amazing machine. Careful of the blades, though. They're ultra sharp. So now what we have is Payday powder, which is a beautiful thing. You can hear when it's done, you know, that clunking disappears. And as I said, do this with any candy bar, man. Snickers, Milky Way, and I've got them all at the store at one time or another, just to vary it, to mix it up a little. Pretty good. Payday candy bars in powder form. And I left a few back in case you wanted to throw them in just as it's nearing completion, which we might do. We'll see. All right, so that's that. And that's the ingredients. So we'll pour it in here. How many gallons of ice cream will we get out of this batch?
2.5 times 2.
How many gallons of ice cream will we get out of this batch?
1.5.
1.5. That's it. 1.5, right? 1.5. All right, so we got that. Now let's get a one of these. And what setting should we put it on? Homemade or super premium? Homemade. Right. And what speed does it run at? 234, right. And now we're going to add the ground up Payday bars. How much did it say to add? For a 6-quart, 14 ounces. Nah. One more? But of course, we're going to taste it and see if we need more or less. If we need less, if there's too much in there, what do? Huh? More mix, right, more mix. Good man. So you weren't sleeping in the back of the class those last 2 days? Okay. Come on, you never made it there before 10. All right, so we have some Payday bars, so we'll chop them up small and we'll throw them in, right? Can't hurt. Now, I know Steve is watching, but you know I haven't turned on the freezing yet, right? Because, why? I want to make sure it's exactly what I want. I didn't put the vanilla in?
Nope.
Hello. Now we'll give it a taste.
What if I told you could blend it for 5 minutes and still add whatever you wanted?
You know that you can tell me anything.
And then it would be freezing and we'd only have 3 minutes left.
Well, you got a bus to catch? Boy, that's good.
See, it's like watching a police show where you have to stop the video and zoom in and then try to calculate how much extra he's adding. He's even going to tell you. What'd you do to my machine?
Maybe I hit the thing with the container. I hit the stop button. I hope.
Phew, that would have been a call to me. Steve, the machine stopped.
Right.
Help.
How many times in 12 years have
443.
No, maybe three times. That's all.
That's all.
And you know what the answer is? Stupid. That's the answer. Okay, so we're good, right? Any questions about this? What I used to do when I first started, I thought I wanted Milky Way ice cream. Milky Way is a different kind of candy bar, so what I did was I heated them up on the stove and kept stirring on a low heat, stirring until I got liquid, hot liquid Milky Way bars. And then I would pour them into a container, take them to the store, and add them in once it cooled. And that was terrific. The flavor was great. Hot, you know, the hot Milky Way things. And then I thought about Snickers. Can't really heat Snickers up because of those damn peanuts in it. So it came to me, and I don't know why, but this thing. And if you notice, there's 6 extremely sharp blades here. 2, 4, 6, and they're very sharp. If I went like that now, forget it. It's an emergency room. That's how sharp they are. You can shave with them. So I bought a Ninja, actually at a flea market, and I tried it with the Snickers. Cut them up, put them in the freezer. You have to put them in the freezer, otherwise you got a gummy, gunk-up mess. But if you put them in the freezer, you saw what happened, and that the middle of these bars is all that nougat. and caramel. So if these work, any candy bar will work. And I now make any candy bar that way. And you can't, there isn't a candy bar made you can't do with. I even do with Kit Kats. As long as you freeze them and then throw them in that, what you're doing is, imagine if you could go to the store or a supply store and buy, and I thought of this as a business, and buy Snickers powder. You know, like they make the cans of junk, that's junk. But if you had Snickers powder and on the side of the can or bottle or jar or whatever, it said add 24 ounces and the ice cream mix and you have Snickers ice. Or if you had Baby Ruth or Milky Way or any of them, Nestle Crunch bars. Imagine if you could go, you know those candy stores with all the chutes on the walls, and imagine if they had all the powders from all the candies. Even this. I made this by putting them in the Ninja and getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch dust. And it's great. So you can do that with any cereal. Somebody mentioned, what are those round, different color ones somebody mentioned yesterday?
Fruit Loops.
Fruit, what is it?
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. You can do with anything and get ice cream out of it. So the Ninja, if you see them, buy 2 or 3. They don't break, but you never want to be without one.
Yeah. $99.
$99. They were on sale at $79 at Sam's Club.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, I have 5 of them. I only use, oh, by the way, what's this really good for? Milkshakes. This is your milkshake machine. Forget the $1,200 5 carousel wearing. I can't say that, can I?
Sure you can.
Forget that.
I just did.
That's $1,500. They look pretty, but they're no good. They're good. They might be good for soft serve, but if you try to put a ball of hard ice cream in there, much as what we make, and do it, forget it. The thing will go all over the place. This is the best. We have 2 of them at the counter, and you put in X amount of mix. How much? Don't say it. And 3 balls of ice cream, and you're good to go. And it takes 2 seconds. Ooh, Snickers, Payday ice cream. Any questions?
No.
From you?
No. I can tell you about the history of Snickers.
The history?
Yeah.
Tell me. It's the world's #1 candy bar.
Yeah, well, Hershey, of course, there's a TV series, what is it called? The Making of America's Food?
I watched it.
And so the big company, of course, is Hershey. And we put them into the ice cream business way back when with our machines. But Hershey was always looking at the competition. The person running Hershey's, or I think he was a Hershey, he was obsessed with his competitors. And so if he couldn't buy them, he'd get really upset. So there was the Snickers.
If he couldn't buy what?
The competitor.
Oh, okay.
So he was always buying out the competitor. And, he'd send in muscle to talk to him and everything else. He was very serious about his work. So here is a great businessman. He goes to Snickers, who will not sell, and says, I'll tell you what, your candy bar is fantastic. Your big problem, though, is finding milk chocolate, and you're going to need a lot of milk chocolate. Instead of trying to get you to sell your company to me, I will supply you at a discount my milk chocolate. I'll give you all the milk chocolate that you need to make your product. And they shook hands on it, and that was the deal. So he may not own the Snickers candy bar, but he's selling the main ingredient to it. What's the second ingredient? Peanuts. So he's selling them the main ingredient. It's as if he owns the company, and every time they sell a candy bar, he's making profit because he's selling the
Snickers
chocolate.
buys the chocolate from Hershey's.
They did then. I don't know what it is today, but that's what. Well, Snickers was, I think, only in Chicago, and it was a growing business, but not nearly big enough. And Hershey could have quashed them if he wanted to. Same thing with Baby Ruth. but he decided to
Half
work
of
with
these
him.
people never heard of Baby Ruth.
You never heard of a Baby Ruth?
No, or a Clark bar.
Oh, gee. Baby Ruth, the rumor was that it was named after Babe Ruth. And so in this series, they tell you that the owner, didn't want to get sued by Babe Ruth, the famous baseball player. So he said, oh no, Baby Ruth is what the nickname for my daughter. And that's what he told everybody. But he was in Chicago, and Babe Ruth was playing in Chicago, for the Cubs, and he knew that anything that was called Babe Ruth was going to sell 1 million bars. And so he had to make up a story of why it was called Baby Ruth, but it was named after Babe Ruth, and it was done only to try to sell candy bars. Very competitive business. But it's kind of fun the way Hershey worked around all that stuff. They're still the largest
You may
seller.
have noticed that I switched from this to that.
I did, which means I
because
got
of the lack of mix.
Yeah, well, you told me how much mix to take out.
Oh, this is the blame game?
Yes.
Oh,
Most definitely.
did I tell you how much mix to take out, or did I confirm what you told me about how much we're taking out?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I said, how much mix do you need for your 2.5 days of classes?
Okay, you're probably right.
Yeah. That's okay. This was good for them to see how you can innovate.
Remember I told you the other day that we made more ice cream than most classes, right? And that's why. Normally it would have been enough.
Thank you. The defense rests its case.
Yeah, right
You
under the
bum.
bus they threw me. They didn't hesitate.
Boy. No,
Throw
and she
Jeff
ran
right
you
under the
over
bus.
again. Deservedly so. Can't get no respect.
If I had turned this on when I wanted to, rather than Steve telling me, wait, don't turn on the compressor yet, I would have been done by now.
Yeah, we all would have been going on to a really good flavor.
What are you making?
I have no idea.
Okay. Should be good.
It's something.
Where's the spoon? I want you to try this. Who's going to do that?
Christi and me
Okay.
in the now dirty 350. Thank you.
I think it's better than I've ever made it.
Yeah. That's
Payday,
good.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the peanuts are nice.
I threw in 2 bars that I chopped up a little bit.
Good.
Tell me, is it ready yet? What's that?
I'm trying to see, like, some people that are allergic to peanuts and coconut, if I'm making something, would that be better to make that be the last flavor of the day, if that's what I'm making?
Absolutely. Yes. Because then after that you're going to be sanitizing, so you'll be safe for the future. But you need to really be careful about that. You need to say that there's peanut allergies. Gee, I'd even be rethinking having that flavor in my store. That's a tough one. What would you do? Well, Jeff, do you serve this normally in the store?
This or Snickers?
Oh, this was Snickers.
Snickers has peanuts.
It does? Oh,
What?
right. Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, Reese's peanut.
Right, Reese's, right.
It's a big seller. I've noticed this on the door.
It's all a bunch of...
So do we. We have one over there. It shows Mr. Peanut choking. Bad humor. Really bad humor.
Okay, I think we're a little bit.
A little bit longer? Okay.
2 minutes. Yo, Cole, 2 minutes. He's a big guy. All right, so what do you don't need any? You're making an ice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go get my formulas. I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay. I'll wait here.
I'm curious to see what I'm making.
What movie? My cousin Vinny, when he's in the courtroom and he finished, I'm done with this witness.
Malibu Italian ice.
Ooh.
With Malibu rum.
Now they can't have that in the front here.
Okay, neither can I.
So like Cole's gonna get 2 portions.
Cole gets whatever Cole wants. By the way, the greatest thing was the Slade's or Mike's tip to put a smear of
lube,
Steraflu or whatever it is. What is that called?
Steraflu. Lubricant. Vaseline.
What is it called? Steraflu. Right over there, and now no problems at all. Works great.
Yeah.
Time? 35 seconds. Time for a magic trick. No, not enough time.
No. But for the family in the back who provided us with that wonderful lunch, I want them to be able to see what it looks like. In fact,
What do you mean?
There she is. Would you like to come up and see how we pull this? I wanted to see how it cuts off. She's been pulling it through too stiff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's see. You can stand here because otherwise the camera will be in the way.
Don't block me. I have my fans out there. Okay.
30 more seconds.
You just told me 35. What gives? All right. First, we're going to shut the compressor, and then the refrigeration.
So
we're going to shut that, and now we're going to listen before we do anything to make sure it cut off. It always does. It's just a habit I got into. You'll hear it when it cuts off. No, not yet. There. Got it? Mm-hmm. Now I can go about my business, not worrying about anything. So here it is.
That's how fast it should come out.
Mine is very stiff.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought so. The other thing you should never do is turn off your machine when you're discharging it to switch tubs. All you have to do is close the gate and then get another tub. Yes?
How much different is it to make like frozen custard as opposed to, can you do that with the same machine?
Yeah, frozen custard is a lower setting and it has 3.2% egg yolk by volume, which you can do quite easily because it's hard to find a custard mix.
Steve, can we talk about that in a minute as soon as we do the ice cream?
Yeah, okay. I'll show you this in a minute.
Here she is now. Okay, what is this from? Here I come to save the day. All right. All right. Good crowd. Okay, this is Payday, one that you won't try.
I didn't say I wouldn't try it.
Well, you said you're not going to like it.
I said I don't like candy bars. The only one I like is Butterfinger.
Oh, butter! I make that. Now, that's a big seller at the store. Butterfingers, do it the same way. But Butterfingers, big seller. Here I come to save the day.
Look at all these containers.
I am exhausted.
Are you?
I've been moving.
I know. What's on? Thank you.
Welcome. Whoops. You're welcome.
Jeff, did you mention about the spaghetti colander?
About the what?
The spaghetti colander?
Well, in my class, yeah, but you want to do it here?
Okay. One thing that Jeff teaches in his class is after you've been doing a nut or something like that, you'll still have a few peanuts in the machine, not many, or chocolate chips. Get a spaghetti colander and your rinse water, when you pour it into the sink, pour it through the spaghetti colander. That way you're not going to have nuts or chips clogging up your drain and calling the plumber once every 2 weeks.
Payday.
So last chance for questions.
Now the small machine we have, when we break it down, take everything out. You know, it's all the way in the back, the little circle there.
Yeah.
So we clean that out. We've been using a Q-tip. Is that the proper way we want to get everything out of there?
That or a brush, or I just take a cloth. It's wide enough that you can take a cloth like this and twirl it up and put it in there. Dip it in your sanitizer too, and get in there. Nothing's supposed to get past those O-rings, so it's really not a problem. But the better the sanitary, the better you are.
All right. Well, that's it, right?
All right. If you have any questions, you can call here. You can write to Christi at EmeryThompson.com, Steve at EmeryThompson.com. Our phone number is on everything. It's a New York number, so you'll recognize the 718. We're open from 8 a.m. to 3:30 every day, but we take calls up until 9 p.m. You'll get a tape machine at 8:30 or so, but leave a message, and if it's an emergency that needs an answer tonight, you'll get an answer tonight. If you're looking to order parts at 8:30 at night, we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. We're also open weekends and holidays. We're not here Easter or Christmas, but any other days we are open. We're here to help you and answer any questions.
All right. Well, I had a lot of fun with you guys, and I hope to hear from you shortly with questions and ready to purchase a machine, okay? Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. If you want to grab up your stuff, I'll give you a tour of the factory.